Happy Thursday, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. Another sunny, beautiful day here in Mesa, Arizona, and I hope wherever you are, the sun is shining, and so are your smiles. How about that? That's warm. Good morning, Jennifer.
That was the corniest shit I think I've ever heard you say. And you said some corny shit.
It's nice to talk to you this morning. Just immediately being bullied. How was your night last night, Jen? Have a good night last night?
I had a great night last night. How was your night?
What'd you get into? Or what got into you? Or maybe what got into you? Better question.
You don't want to know.
Jen brought her date to our members only event last night for anybody who wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean,
his name's Duke. We now know his name.
Yep. He's owning the name, so he will.
Guy, good question, Drago. Good question, Guy. I think.
Yes, he is a guy. Yes.
Him.
Yes. Unfortunately, I am straight. So.
Well, how did it go?
It was good. We had a good time. We hung out.
You went to dinner.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it drinks after or?
No, I don't. We didn't have any drinks. No drinks. No drinks.
No. Where'd you go after?
Places.
Nice. What time did the date end?
I think we fell asleep like around midnight. So.
When did the date end? Because usually maybe the bad question. When a date ends for me, that's usually when we stop being around each other. So like if I went to dinner at like 6, dinner can take 2 hours depending on the conversation. Maybe you go for a walk after, or get a drink or whatever, and then you shake hands, hug, kiss goodbye, whatever it might be. And then I would say like maybe it's 11 o'clock at that point, and then I go home and I go to sleep.
Got it.
Yeah.
So then 5 a.m.
5 a.m. is when.
So.
Somebody have to go to work or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Not you though. You were dragging ass this morning. Jen hit me with "I'm tired" at like 9:15.
Was it 9:15? I don't know.
Around there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
I'm double checking to see.
Benjamin Button had a sleepover with the dude.
I'm an adult. I can do what I want. So.
That's true. That's true. I dare you to tell that to Spawn later.
No, definitely not. Spawn does Spawn.
What does Spawn think? What does she think happened last night?
That I went on a date, similar to what everyone here thought.
Gotcha.
So, but she did text me this morning. The question that she thought I stayed over somewhere else, I think is what she assumed.
Oh, so she's getting nosy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I didn't tell her that we were at our house. So
that's tough with like younger teenage daughters. They know enough that they're like, this is new.
Yeah, I'm age appropriate, honest with her for most things. So.
I don't know anything about my daughter's 6. I'm sure I'm not age appropriate.
No,
I heard the other day I had to pull my daughter aside the other day. Many people know this. She has a rule that she can say, like, she can swear as much as she wants around me. And she has like her best friend. Her parents are cool. They don't care either. So like her best friend was over. So I'll regularly hear them swear. And then like around her other friends, she'll never curse or anything. But I heard her the other day. I was in the other room, and her friend, like, I don't know what she said to ask me to do, like, ask your dad for something. And I heard my daughter go, he'll give it to me. He lets me do whatever the fuck I want. I was like, oh no. I was like, quit and pulled her son. I was like, you shouldn't say that. I tell you no sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I've heard you interact with your spawn, and I don't think you say no often. So
All right, that's not well. She doesn't ask for. She's perfect. She doesn't ask for anything that she shouldn't get. The things she knows her needs, and she's sensible. That's
she's sensible.
yeah. She's 6.
All right,
She's very mature for being 6, and she never asks for things that she shouldn't have.
really, got it.
I still can't curse around my folks, and I'm 40. Yeah, same.
I
Well,
mean,
I'm not supposed to.
I mean, I can, but I just don't. I mean, my dad wouldn't care. My mom's in my closet somewhere, so I don't know if she cared.
I forgot
So
about that, Bowsy. Remember when she brought me? It was like during a debate, I think. Maybe it was a show, and she brought me a drink. I like asked her if she'd bring me a drink, and she came and slammed it on the table and said "shithead" and walked off to me. I forgot about that.
no, I don't remember that one, but I believe it. So but yeah, so yeah, no, we had a good time. It was fantastic because I told him about the members only event and said, "Do you want to hop in and say hi?" They're not expecting me to be there, and you had a little bit of a you didn't know what to do kind of a response. So
I don't.
that was entertaining for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, you were very uncomfortable, and then
Of
you
course, I'm
decided to like
uncomfortable. It's
call.
uncomfortable.
I mean, I found it to be very entertaining. I thought it was fun. So,
Yeah. I'm gonna play
but
this. I never played this audio. I think I might have shared it in the Discord at one point. But I'm going to share this now while we're talking about my daughter. I love my daughter. She's the greatest in the world, and she makes me laugh every single day. But there was not that long ago, and sorry I'm looking down. I'm scrolling for the video while we do this. But not that long ago, a friend of mine who had a daughter who was pushed off like the jungle gym at the playground, and the people watching her um, didn't I guess they weren't like super transparent about how serious it was and who pushed her off. And so my friend was upset. He had to take his daughter to I guess the ER or whatever to check for a concussion. And I told my daughter about this, and she asked if she could send my friend a video message in response. His daughter's name, sorry, is Julia, but I won't say I won't say their names. And this is the audio of the message she sent.
Hey, Chad. My dad just told me that 5-year-old pushed Julia over. I could kick his ass for you, bitch. that great old 5-year-old bitch.
Yeah. So it's my kid. 100% my kid.
yep, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. But yeah.
All right. Well, that cleansed my palate after your gross night last night.
Well, it was fun joining the members only event because I told him that was going on and it was missing it. So I was like, asked him if he wanted to say hello. So we said hello. And then Jay was just I could feel the redness in his face.
That sucked. That sucked so bad.
Through the phone. And then Jay thought that I guess there was a bet if I would answer the phone if he called back later on. And
yeah,
did you think I would answer?
I knew you would answer. The thing is people can say what they want. You can say what you want. But Jen does love me, and she just would never say that openly to anybody. Maybe the Duke. Maybe as things progress with the Duke, she'll say that. But of course, you're going to answer. I never call you, so if I call you, it's for a reason. Of course, you're going to answer.
Yeah, well, it was funny, and you were concerned that I was nice.
Yeah, she answered the phone all nice. It fucked me up. I was like, "Hey, Jen." She's like, "Hey." It was like it was weird. That did make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, then I guess you decided after my phone call, you decided to call all kinds of other random people during the members only event. So you guys should join us for those
mom
events.
called me.
Oh, she called you.
We were talking about it, and she just happened to call me right then. So I put my mom on speakerphone. She kind of got pissed about that, actually. She wasn't super happy. She was like, I should be mad about it. She's like, you shouldn't do that to people. I'm not mad, but you shouldn't do that. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. That was my bad.
Oh, I thought you I thought you called her. I thought you decided that you just want to start calling people. I thought that was.
I was going to. Then I tried to play a voicemail of. I found a catfish voicemail. I think
I heard. I went and I watched the chat, and then also Animal wanted me to remind you.
Animal.
I'll send
Like
you the
from the
screenshot.
Muppets?
No, Anima.
Oh, Anima. Okay. I was like, okay.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't know. Sorry.
Here, I'll put it in our chat. What you wanted to remind? You said to have me remind you, so I screenshotted it so that I could remind you for that. So I put that in our chat if you want to loop that in the conversation somewhere. Yeah. So if you guys want to, these are the kinds of things you get to experience in our members only events, but you have to be a paid member or a subscriber on wherever you're watching to be able to join us for those member only events that we have every other Wednesday. So you can possibly, if Duke will hear this again, because
Duke Silver
has gone back and listened to the beginnings of the shows the last however many days it's been.
He doesn't stay for the whole thing?
He's working. Well, I mean,
fuck you, Duke. There's some good info. I work hard, Duke. There's some good information here. Fuck you, dude. Listen to the whole show.
I mean, he thinks that I think he finds you entertaining.
Well, if he found me entertaining, he'd watch the whole show. That's all I'm saying.
We did go through the
and share
RTP
it.
out of
Share
context
it, Duke.
channel.
Share it while you're at it.
So,
like.
Yeah, we did go
subscribe.
through that. So yeah. So there's all that. So we can that's how my evening into. I mean, we slept. So, but yeah, there's that.
Good.
So.
Yeah, we can end it there. That's fine. We don't have to talk about it. Any more of that? This is like hearing your mom talk about her dating life.
I think it's hilarious that it makes you uncomfortable. So
it would make you uncomfortable if I shared the same things.
You'd be surprised. I would. Well,
Never mind. I take it all back. We don't need to talk about it. Never mind.
I'd probably make it weirder. In fairness.
Yeah, that's true. My bad. Sorry, I didn't mean fuck you to Duke. By the way, it's a term of endearment in my life, Duke. So
yeah, there's that. Anyways, so welcome everybody. We got the show going. It's we do this show each day, Monday through Friday, from 9:30 ish to 1. So we've got a gift goal that we need to hit each day so that we can keep the lights on in doing that. So Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats all go towards knocking out that gift goal. If we can knock that out sooner rather than later, that'd be great. Quick, fast, in a hurry. In the words of Jeffrey.
That's how we know the date wasn't with Jeffrey last night. It lasted till 5 a.m.
Yeah, no, definitely not. So yeah, William, tell him support our grift. Thank you, William, for if you guys, in honor of William, if anyone wants to help support us, that'd be sweet. So like I mentioned earlier, if you're a paid member or subscriber wherever you're watching, you can join us for members only events. We had last night, and then the next will be we do them every other Wednesday. So if you're a paid member wherever you're watching, you can join us for those. If you disagree with RTP and like to have a conversation, you can come up and do that by sending me a message on Discord. My Discord username is the same as the Venmo. So Jen with 2 N's, Dub with 2 B's, the number 1. And I can bring you up and have a conversation. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We got merch. Jay's on Cameo. Did you do that Cameo yet?
Yeah, I did. If the person who sent the Cameo is here, I just had to reply back that I don't have the video. So I did send a video back and just asked you to send me the link so I can actually react to the video you wanted me to react to.
Yeah. Oh man, you know what? Jay usually gives you time to cry in the chat, but I'm going to just take away your First Amendment.
You couldn't see me, but that's why I was laughing. This relationship between the YouTube chat and May is so funny.
Well, and I don't know if it shows up who muted, but I muted you from the RTP account, but just so you know, it was me. So have a good day, May.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming May's a woman.
But, I don't know. She might just be a month. Who knows?
who knows? Anyway, but so have a good day, May.
She may or
Anyways,
may not be a woman.
True. Very true.
It's not bad.
All right. So what can you sit on, sleep on, and brush your teeth with?
Wait, one more time?
What can you sit on, sleep on, and brush your teeth with?
Toothbrush?
A chair, a bed, and a toothbrush.
Is that a joke? What is that?
Yeah.
Did I miss? Is that a joke? That's just.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. It's just obvious. Just obvious. So, all right. Let's go.
What was that? Where did you get that?
I get most of these from Reddit.
Good Lord. That's just, it's like the anti-joke joke.
Yeah. I get them from Reddit. So I've been pulling them from this Reddit thing for a while, and there's not as many good ones. So
it's very Norm Macdonald-y. It's one of those ones that's not funny at first, but the longer it hangs in the air, it gets funnier. That's not bad.
Yeah. So there you go.
Thank you. Dolphin said, thanks for the honor again. You know what I mean. I'm actually just gonna clarify what she means by that. I just followed Dolphin back. I don't want to. That's what she meant. And oh fuck William and May. Sorry, William. Sorry, May. That's a big fuck you to start things off today. I would never say that to anybody except for Duke, but jokingly. Thanks everybody over on TikTok already. La Ra Lee and Johnny D already leading the way with the gifts like they do every day. A little Witchy, Eve, and Kim rounding out the top 5. Thank you guys for being here. Not talking about too much election stuff today, so we should stay up on TikTok, and hopefully they don't ban us on TikTok today. All right, let's just jump right in here. Let me switch screens. There we are. All right. I don't want to talk about this a ton, but I do feel like we're going to wind up talking about it anyways. So I'm just going to put it up here first. Actually, I'm going to go to number 2 first. 1, I think we all need to start with this energy today, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to feel partisan. And if I could just reaching across the aisle to May and to William and to whoever else is here that's normally here that is on the other side of the aisle, can we just all today just adopt this personality towards politicians, and then tomorrow we can go back to being like dipshits?
Andy Biggs is leading right now on the Republican side. I'm curious what you make.
It's just a voter in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Of the election denialism and even voting not to certify the 2020 presidential election.
I would have more respect for our politicians and government leaders if they dressed up as pirates, and then when they came and take our money, they were like, "Arr, I'm a pirate," because then we wouldn't have to go through the emotional gaslighting of pretending like they're doing any of this to help us.
Yeah, that's the energy we need. I love her. I want to be best friends with her. She's somewhere in Old Town Scottsdale. Go find her. Blue Chew said, F, marry, kill, couch, rug, lamp. Ooh. All right. I think I'm marrying the couch because that's long lasting and can provide comfort. Obviously, I'm fucking the rug. And the lamp can go. I've got a light on my cell phone. I don't necessarily need a lamp. I can find my own way. That was one of the easiest ones we've ever had. Thank you very much. Brittany said, for the grift. Thank you, Brittany. All right. We're going to watch 5 minutes of Andrew Tate being absolutely disgusting. I do have to say, trigger warning here. You are going to see scenes, blurred out scenes, but I don't know how. I don't even know. Like, I might have to skip over some stuff. I'm not sure the YouTube guidelines here, but I've been following our friend Gadget. If you don't know who Gadget is, you can find Gadget, I think, on YouTube as well as on Twitter. He's been investigating Andrew Tate for years now. And Andrew Tate got arrested in his capris and blouse in Miami over the weekend. And now there's an all-out campaign by his douchebag friends to pretend that he's innocent and that he's just being targeted because he's MAGA. And that he talks about ideas that are unpopular and that aren't progressive or are woke. So this is 5 minutes, and again, trigger warning, of Andrew Tate being everything that he's accused of. Like, the thing about all of Andrew Tate's cases is that there's videos of him basically bragging about doing all of the things that he's accused of. Now, we know for MAGA that doesn't matter. Donald Trump can literally brag about exactly what he does to women, and then like 20 women over the course of decades are like, this is how he sexually assaulted me, and it matches perfectly what he admitted to, and MAGA will ignore that. So I assume you guys will just side with Andrew Tate here, Bill Cosby. I assume you're going to side with Conor McGregor and Russell Brand. It's kind of what Matt Gaetz, all those people. So I'd imagine that there will be some Andrew Taters in here, and if you are here, that fucking sucks. You should not be that anymore.
2 girls have claimed Andrew Tate approached them on social media.
P. Diddy, that's right.
When they still attended school.
The PhD course is my recruitment system.
PhD is a pimp and hose degree.
So the recruitment process is, you message them on Instagram.
I was contacted by Andrew Tate, the older of the Tate brothers, 3 years ago when I was just 16.
Daria was 16 when she says she received a private message on Instagram 2 years ago from Andrew Tate's account. It read simply, Romanian girl, followed by a strawberry emoji.
What do you inbox the woman? I live in Bucharest, Romania, but it doesn't matter if I'm in London, Bucharest, Moscow, anywhere I am. I just say Bucharest ? Or Moscow ? Or London ? Sometimes, because like I said, intrigue, I'll put a completely pointless emoji on it.
You guys, me, I'm not talking, homie. Why am I talking about Andrew Tate? Because he's a rapist, and he's a right-wing hero. And I'm wondering if that was was directed at me. I think we ought to check your history. Anybody who is watching any of this and gets upset at me, immediately, FBI, if you're here, immediately check their search history.
Some cherries, or an orange, or a strawberry.
I asked around to my other friends and my classmates who were also 15, 16.
Oh, no, it wasn't directed at me? Okay, cool. Thanks.
At the time. And
sorry about that.
And a couple of them also told me they received messages.
So I messaged her. She's like, I'm only 16. I was like, give a fuck. Know about me.
It was a pretty well-known fact that he had kind of a network of young girls.
You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck would I write for you? You've got a fit sister who's 16, maybe. Muslims have the best.
Like, if anybody has one video clip of them talking about, as a man in his 30s and now 40s, talking about 16-year-old girls, one clip should be like the end of his career. He was publishing these. These aren't hidden cameras. This is content that he's putting out. This is why it's hard to trust. This is why it's pretty hard to trust anybody on the right. When push comes to shove, are you ever going to stand up for the people that are being abused? Because it doesn't seem like it. Yes, Barron Trump's bestie.
Best frame on earth. I want a virgin wife at 16.
That's a good point, too. And it was content the men paid him for. That's true.
Who's going to obey me? That's what I want.
You know, you said it looks like I'm in a teenage girl's bedroom.
Yeah.
To some people, that would be an insult. But to me, I find that quite flattering, to be honest. You know, like, that's exactly what you'd expect. Like?
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America.
Why'd you say 15? Where is it 15? Guys, like, they've been on everybody's podcasts. They show up front and center at UFC fights, hanging out with the Trumps.
18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania, 16. Sorry.
He employed or forced, don't know, to.
Sorry, Amber. This is terrible timing. Amber said, "Glad you got laid, Jen."
To do video chat for him, and who knows what else.
The girl you start with is the most important girl, because the girl you start with is going to be your bottom bitch. They call it your bottom bitch on the street.
This is his Ghislaine Maxwell. He's training. What he's been training kids to do is be Ghislaine Maxwell.
My first girl was so good. It was easy.
I don't know how much of this I can show. Sorry, I gotta probably
long-term relationship
hop
thing.
through that. Let me scroll through. Yeah, that's Vivian. That's was it the first webcam girl? But then they do some investigative journalism, and you might be shocked to find out how he met Vivian.
So Vivian's been with me 6 years.
So he's been with Vivian for 6 years, right?
Because Vivian's younger. Vivian's like 21.
Vivian's 21. And at this point, he's been a girlfriend for 6 years.
So, Vivian here.
It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
There's a video from 10 years ago that showed me.
These guys have never been canceled by MAGA. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to get KO'd for sure on TikTok. It's for sure going to happen.
Sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends.
You message one other guy ever again.
All right, I can't show this. This is him beating her with a belt. Can't show that.
So important to have a good first girl.
Yes, the woman he has beaten up, it was nothing but a sex play, consensual.
It means that they met when she was 15 years old.
When I bring on...
So it can't be, right? Somebody that he started beating when she was 15 years old. This is a Milk Bar TV. They've just taken quotes from Andrew Tate, clips from Andrew Tate, and put it together. I don't think I can show the rest of this. But just a reminder of who gets elevated by MAGA. Just a reminder. All right. Let's move on to something a little lighter. I'm going to skip it actually for now. I feel like this is I don't feel like I can transition into it this way. I want to talk about the Stop Insider Trading bill. This is going to come up, I would imagine. Do we have Republicans here yet? Can you raise your hand here? Or Trump supporter, Republican, just like the Stop Insider Trading bill? Anybody here? Is there anybody here that's excited about the passage of the Insider Trader bill? Can you just raise your hand? I'm not going to go after you. Just want to know if we have any of you here. I don't know if this has like permeated MAGA yet. I don't know if they have the messaging is just going out. They're being told how to celebrate this right now and how to chalk it up as a win. So maybe it hasn't gotten there yet. They're already all over social media blaming Dems. Okay. Axe, a quick question. Do you see Trump dropping his BS $10 billion lawsuit now that he has to give his financial records? WMods, WGen, and Duke, thanks, RTP. Yeah, I mean, he's always going to, anytime Discovery shows up, he's going to drop the lawsuit. I didn't know, is there a new ruling on that? I haven't heard an update on that lawsuit. Is there an update? Been watching the Biden auto pen hearing. I can't wait to watch that later. That's going to be super important. I didn't know there was a Biden auto pen. Is there really a Biden auto pen hearing right now? Or are you watching a replay? All right. Well, here's what the bill is. So it's the Stop Insider Trading bill. It's intended as a stock trading bill, but it's just like leaves half the loopholes still in. What Republicans are going to tell you is that Democrats didn't want to vote for this bill because they want to do insider trading. What Republicans won't tell you is that most of the reason that the Democrats oppose this is, one, it doesn't go far enough with insider trading, but more importantly, they attached other aspects to this bill, like a national voter ID requirement, elements of the SAVE Act. And they do this all the time. They'll name the bill something, they'll attach other stuff into the bill, and they pick a political headline, and both parties do this, but they'll pick the political headline that they can go out and beat the other party over the head with. This is their way of trying to win the midterms. There's no chance that this bill passes the Senate. It can't get past the filibuster. Everybody knows it. But here's what it doesn't do. It doesn't put any sort of ban on the president or the vice president trading stocks, which I don't know why. Why in the world would Congress ban members of Congress from trading stocks and not the president and the vice president? The president and vice president can't ban themselves. They can't write a bill to stop presidents from being able to trade stocks. Only Congress can do that. So it's not like they're only policing themselves. I've heard this excuse from Republicans in Congress. They're like, well, we have to worry about ourselves. No, you write the laws for everybody. Nobody else can write this into law. So why there's an exception for the president and VP? Why do you, what do we think? They're all afraid of Trump, and that's the most pathetic part of this entire bill. They are so afraid of Donald Trump attacking them if they take away his ability to make money while he's president that they've created a carve-out for the executive branch. That's pathetic. If you're MAGA, that's so like that is so spineless. Yeah, we should do it. And the bill doesn't go very far. We'll get into it a little bit more here, but that's so pathetic. We're too afraid to tell Donald Trump that he has to follow the same rules as us. I know that you guys don't care much for your members of Congress. I get that, but don't you want to have some people with spines in there? May? Is May muted for a while? Maybe she's not still here. Where's William? Don't you want somebody to have a spine? All right. It also it allows lawmakers to keep all the stocks that they already own. So it doesn't force a sell. They can still sell as long as they give 7 to 14 days notice. Now, there's rules on the books all the time now about what you have to report and the notice that you have to give, and nobody follows any of these rules. The other side of this is that, like, what's the enforcement mechanism? Are we actually going to enforce this law? Probably not. It's not going to pass. It also doesn't include crypto. Crypto trades are mostly fine. Crypto is far more easy to manipulate than the stock market, and that's the one that they're like, this is actually still okay. That should tell you that Congress knows crypto is a total scam, and the people that are funding them are paying them to allow this scam to continue. They're just like, yeah, we're not going to regulate crypto. You're still able, you can still get dividends. You can still buy more of the same stock that you already have. There's exceptions for commodities like oil, gold, and wheat, which doesn't make sense, right? Because as members of Congress, you are privy to information that could move all of those markets, oil, gold, and wheat. You can still have mutual funds and ETFs, which, again, you can manipulate those, or you can at least understand what legislation might do to the prices of mutual funds and ETFs. The point of crypto is that it's unregulated. Yeah. The point of crypto is that it's meant to be used by criminals. That's the point of crypto. Here's what it does do, though. It blocks new purchases of individual stocks by members, spouses, and dependent kids under 21 that are still living at home and are on the tax return. If the adult children don't live at home, then this doesn't cover them. There's a $2,000 or 10% of the trade penalty plus any profit that's supposed to be enforced by House and Senate ethics committees, which is crazy. I don't know why you just don't forfeit all of it. 10% of the trade or $2,000. Why not all of it? If you break that law, you still get to keep the stock. What if you see a stock that you invest in and you're like, this is about to go up 30 or 40%? You'll take that 10% hit. You don't care. And that's just on the trade, not even on the immediate profit. The dumb bill. Democrats are saying that they want a more strict bill. They want it to include the president, vice president, senior staff, and judges. I think everybody agrees with that. It should be more strict. You should close the dividend and commodity loopholes, and then you should force divestment once somebody's in office. Like, actually force investment, actually do a blind trust. This idea that you can put your assets in a blind trust and that blind trust be managed by your children is insane. Joe Biden wasn't president. It was a guy in a mask. Guy's back. Cool. So what? John? What was the point of Joe Biden then, like, stuttering? If it was a guy in the mask, why didn't they just keep him speaking well so that he could have stayed in office? They wanted Trump to win, or is this like some sort of conspiracy theory that includes Kamala Harris and her like, was she in on it? She wanted to be president. A weird conspiracy theory. Yeah. I mean, Trump's trust is blind in the way that that seeing everything completely is blind. Like in the way that me reading this paper makes me blind. It's basically the same thing. Oh shit, let me get back to Virginia Fox. Let me get back to that. All right. So this is Virginia Fox and then Representative McGovern here. Again, Republicans are just basically making laws that we already have. This is the same as the SAVE Act. I don't even know why they try and pass these things. They just try and sneak shit in. It's all for the voters. It's all for Trump. It's all for the donors. None of this shit ever passes. But here we are. in Congress, not getting a goddamn thing done. No, not her.
We already have laws in place against insider trading.
I just want to respond to the gentlelady. I'm just a little confused. I thought I heard her say that, you know, we already have.
I don't mean to be mean, but how old is this woman? All the way. She's all the way old. I don't know what the number is, but however old a human could possibly be, that's where she's at.
Laws to deal with stock insider trading. So if that's the case, then why are we doing a bill to ban stock insider trading? I mean, the bottom line is we're doing it because it's a problem. And our objection is the fact that they are basically excluding somebody who is violating the law in our face right now, blatantly, who's in the White House, who's making, you know, countless millions, if not billions of dollars on some really shady deals. Quite frankly, this makes Richard Nixon look like a Boy Scout. I mean, and the deal is the American people are sick of it. They want us to clean up Washington. That includes Congress, and that includes the executive branch.
I think that's what everybody would say. Like, if you just stopped people on the street and you're like, what do you think about congressional stock trading? Everybody would sound in some way like Jim McGovern here. Instead, Republicans have to have the unique opportunity to go out and pitch the American people a complete fucking fairy tale. Here's Pete Ricketts on why the Trump administration wasn't included, and not necessarily just the Trump administration, but the executive branch. Like, why not include the executive branch, which everybody on earth, if you just asked them on the street, should Congress be able to do insider trading? No. Should the president? No. Great. Congress found a way to take 100-0 issue and carve out a niche for Donald Trump so he can keep making billions of dollars from the presidency.
First of all, not that you ever want to let the perfect be the enemy of the good, but there have been complaints from both sides. On the one hand, some members would like to see this extend to the administration. Others say that it doesn't go far enough, that there should be much tighter legislation.
Yeah, good point. It also applies, they didn't add it to the judicial branch either.
Comes on this. What do you say to other senators who bring those?
Why is this penis smiling at me so aggressively during this, by the way? I had our high school football coach. I didn't play football, but the guy that was a high school football coach, and this maybe dates, he used to walk down the hall, and whenever he saw kids that like he knew, he'd just be like, "You look like a penis with ears." And it was always, I never really understood it until I saw Pete Ricketts, and then I'm like, oh, okay. Did he think we all looked like that? Because I like that. That looks like Jen's date last night, like a part of Jen's date last night with ears. I don't think she's here.
Concerns up.
Did I play any sports at all? Yeah, I lettered in track for 2 years. I lettered in basketball for 3, and I lettered in soccer all 4. And then I played soccer in college. Thanks for asking.
Well, with all legislation, if you've got something that everybody's complaining about, maybe you got something that's pretty close to what can get passed and be a compromise. What we're trying to do with this legislation is really address the issue specifically here in the Congress.
Just Google me, bud. You can find my, like, everybody in our Discord can tell you. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by that. That's my own ego. I'm sorry.
This legislation has really addressed the issue specifically here in the Congress. I mean, we have seen it where people publish, for example, the former speaker's stock trades, and it makes money. So crazy as it sounds, it becomes a legitimate stock trading strategy.
True.
You know, that just shouldn't be. What we want to do is make sure we're not locking out people who come, say, from successful business. We don't want to, keep a successful business person from coming to the U.S. Congress by saying you can't have any stock. What we're going to say is you can't buy any more once you get here, and if you're going to sell anything you have to notify people, and there's a 10% penalty plus disgorgement of profits to be able to, if you fail to do that. So we think the penalties are very significant with this. And again, we're focused on what we're doing here in the Congress. That's where we think we need to address, because, as I said, getting back to that 15% approval rating, it's clear that the American people are not trusting our institutions. And if this is one thing we can do to be able to reinforce that trust, we ought to take that step to be able to make sure people know that we're not using our inside information to be able to profit personally.
First of all,
we don't want to discourage good business people from coming to Congress. Yeah, we do. Currently, we do. I don't want anybody in Congress with a net worth over $10 million. Think, what are the industries right now that you could be in and have a net worth over, let's call it 20 million. What industries could you be in and have a net worth over 20 million? Scratch golfer too. I was a scratch golfer. I think my handicap's like a 1.2 or something right now. Close to that though. Yeah, name a CEO. What CEO would you want running? Name a CEO that you'd like to see in Congress. Just give me some names. Yeah, Wall Street's where you would make money. You'd in tech. What is Pete Ricketts' net worth? $215 million. Where did he get his money? Oh, his dad was a billionaire. His dad started TD Ameritrade. Oh, shocker. And then his family owned the Cubs? What the fuck? This is just a Nepo baby? I didn't even know, Pete. Thank you for telling me to look him up. Jesus Christ. He's just a Nepo baby? We need to get good businessmen in Congress. Bitch, what did he do? Did he ever do anything on his own? He worked for Union Pacific Railroad for a year. There's a throwback. And a salesman for a year. And then he went to work for Dad. Initially in the call center for a few months. Then was appointed to a number of executive positions. Oh, okay. He literally just was handed a business by his dad. Cool. All right. So who were the CEOs that you would want to say? I wouldn't want Mark Cuban as a CEO or as president. I'd take the CEO of Arizona and Ben and Jerry. Yeah, those are good ones. Like, you want Elon Musk? You know, like, how's Tesla? Tesla just had a nightmare earnings call yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. They're getting dusted. SpaceX, that's not going very well. Mark Zuckerberg to be president? How much debt have they, like they're always in debt. Mark Zuckerberg fired like 900 people and is now scrambling to go hire them all again because he overestimated the effect of AI. Well, DH, that's fair. Assuming someone's never accomplished anything because of who their dad is such a liberal take. I don't know if that's a liberal take. I think that you guys all said that same thing about Hunter Biden. I would say it's a dumb take. But then we looked him up, right? See the difference. See what we did? I made an assumption, then I'm like, I'm going to check that assumption. So then we went and we checked his actual record, and it's like, oh, he really didn't do much. It looks like he didn't do a whole lot. See how that works? You have it. You have an idea in your head, and this is the difference between progressives and conservatives, and thanks for bringing that up. And you can watch that in real time. What you did is you stopped thinking, right? You didn't think, I wonder if this is a liberal idea or just a thing that normal people do. And you didn't think about that. You just blamed liberals. Also forgot that I'm not a liberal. I'm a progressive. I don't think you could consider me a liberal. I don't really think at any time in my life you would consider me a liberal. But then I was like, I want to make sure I'm right. And so we went to Wikipedia and we checked. You see how that's different than what you did? That's the difference largely in being a progressive and a conservative. Laziness. It's the number one, like intellectual incuriosity. I can talk to somebody, I think, in 5 minutes and find out what their politics are without asking political questions. And it comes down to a lack of intellectual curiosity, which, by the way, I think that conservatives sometimes live more carefree, happy lives. I think and people in general. You ever met, who's like the happiest person you know? Think of that person. And then ask yourself, does that person is that a very intellectually curious person? I don't think so. Like the ones with the perma smile on their face, nothing ever gets them down. Those people just repress everything. or ignore everything. And the only way for me to be happy is to pretend like bad things aren't happening and just go about my life. And that's okay. I think some people have to function that way. But those people generally tend to be conservatives. So you don't really want those people to be the problem solvers. Those are good cheerleaders. I think conservatism should just go away in general in politics. And I think what you guys should do is you should instead be like, go be content creators. Cheerlead the government. Put a nice, cute bow on everything. Keep everybody distracted and happy and give them something to do. But don't be in politics anymore. We don't need any more conservative politics, especially not right now. Like, especially when we have the debt that we have. We can find. I'm not saying that conservatives and the way that you guys think isn't useful. It's just not useful right now. We don't need it. It's hurting us. It's holding us back. Do you think we could work out a deal with you guys where we just found something else for you to do for a while? What could we do? Where could we send conservatives? Let's brainstorm this together. Let's set aside the animosity. What is something that conservatives would be great with? Let's send all the conservatives to run our national parks. So hear me out. In our national monuments, conservative voters. Let's put them there. They can serve. That's what we want, right? Oh man, do you know how mad they're going to be when somebody comes in and changes anything? They fucking hate change. Let's take all the conservatives that want to be involved in politics and let's put them in charge of parts. Let's send them to the coast. Let's send them to wildlife refuges. Refuges? Is that the right word for that? National parks, lakes, rivers, streams. Don't let them listen to politicians anymore because we got to take them out of politics. But put that same mindset to use in places where we could use it. I'm a big fan of that. No. Again, Oshika, it's not about that. The conservatives are. How do I best put this? I don't think that most conservative people or people that like and you, I think you guys could probably recognize the people in your life that are like conservative but not necessarily political. They don't know that they're racist, right? I saw some. I don't remember what it was. I didn't put. Oh, it was. I might be able to find it. I saw this clip this morning of Randy Fine, and I was thinking when I was watching this clip how this would play for conservatives and how conservatives think this is a good idea. That was a good transition. Let's show this clip real fast from Randy Fine. First of all, Randy Fine is gross. You're going to hate him for this, and he should know better. So I'm not defending Randy Fine here, and I'm not going to defend anybody. I just want to walk through the mind of a conservative.
Congressman Jacob with TMZ, how's it going? So this morning I see that you called Zohran Mamdani a Muslim terrorist. How does saying things like that help your cause? I feel like it could really get under people's skin.
Look, the truth. We should always tell the truth.
It's the truth?
Sure.
Well, yeah, he's an elected official. He's the sitting mayor of New York.
He's not a terrorist.
I mean, he's obviously not a terrorist, right? Obviously.
Terrorist? So the guys who run Hamas, who sit in Qatar or Turkey, are they terrorists?
Well, how could you compare that to the sitting mayor of New York?
I mean,
what Zohran was saying is...
Yeah, one of them is funding what you call terrorists, we'll call militant groups, extremist groups, whatever you want to call them. One of them's not.
You're elected doesn't mean you're not a terrorist. So Zohran Mamdani gave a speech where he decried the killing of Muslim terrorists. He gave a number in his speech. Let me finish. He gave a number of people that he claims Israel killed. That number objectively includes Hamas terrorists. And he...
All right. His argument is that if you are defending the total number of people killed by Israel, then by default, you're defending Hamas terrorists. By default, you are a terrorist yourself.
Decried the killing of Muslim terrorists.
Isn't he also saying that the ICC has charged Netanyahu as a war criminal and therefore he should be arrested?
He's the mayor of New York. He should leave foreign policy.
Yeah, he's always wearing a yarmulke.
To those who are in charge of it. Why would a mayor of New York get involved in these issues other than to legitimize...
But he's also calling on the federal government to make the arrest.
We can't make the arrest.
What does the growth on the back of his neck think?
We are not a party to the ICC. It's a fake court that America's not part of. We could also...
Okay, so to tie that back in, this is how most of the conservatives in my life think. If I don't hate, if I don't actively hate black or brown people, I am not racist. That's how the bulk of people that you've seen in debates, that's what it always is. And Randy Fine at the gets down later. Let's see if I can get later.
Supremacist?
Explains it. Here it is. Listen to how he explains this. And this is the exact type of argument that you would hear from like Andrew Wilson or really any like bro debater in the debate space.
You shouldn't use the term white supremacist or Christian nationalist, and I'm glad that's the policy that you're going to have moving forward.
I'm saying if we called someone like a Jewish terrorist or like a black terrorist...
If they're a terrorist, but have you ever used the term white supremacist?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so why can't we use the term Muslim terrorist then?
It just seems like a different connotation when you're adding a religion.
Because one's a terrorist. A white supremacist is somebody who believes that white people are either supreme or they deserve more or they should be prioritized. Right? So it's not the same. Like a terrorist is a real thing. You can call Mamdani a Muslim, but when you add the terrorist part, he's not engaging in terrorism. If you call somebody a white supremacist and they engage in some sort of supremacy, then they are a white supremacist. This is a debate that happens on TikTok all the time, and I think that like the disconnect is always so obvious. When people say things like America's a white supremacist country, or even like sometimes it's more incendiary, like all white people are white supremacists, or like or some level of if you aren't trying to undo white supremacy, you are a white supremacist. Like by definition, that actually works. That's why I've never been upset when somebody says like if you're a white man in America, like you're a misogynist, you're a white supremacist. Yeah, like I get what your argument is there. I get it. I don't have to hate somebody to participate in a society or a structure that elevates white people or white men. So they play this whataboutism game, but the difference is that by calling Mamdani a Muslim terrorist, you don't have any evidence of terrorism. The evidence of terrorism is that he included militant groups in a number of people killed by the Israeli government. That doesn't make you a terrorist for sure. It's a stretch to even say that's a terrorist sympathizer. At best, you can say he failed to cut the terrorists out of that number, which would be hard to do to get that number anyways. So if you want to have a criticism of Mamdani, you can say like, hey, he's using numbers that also include Hamas terrorists. Fine, that's a fair criticism. But this whataboutism doesn't work, and this parallel doesn't work. And don't ever let these people on the right convince you that this works. It doesn't work both ways. What they want to say is that you can't generalize people or you can't label people at all. And if you are allowed to label some people, then you're allowed to label other people. This isn't labeling. These are accurate descriptions. If our own audience was calling me a white supremacist, and then they explained that it's because we live in a country that elevates white men or white people, I would be like, okay, if that's your definition, then yeah, I'm a white supremacist. But there's no definition where Mamdani fits a Muslim terrorist.
Rules. Okay, have you ever used the term Christian nationalist? I bet you guys have.
I don't think so.
I bet you all
I think there's...
There you go, Winters. This is what I love. This is what I love about you. You can sit here and hear a good argument that you have no comeback for, and you say another dumb thing like Randy Fine. This is what conservatism is. It reduces you to spouting off dumb shit that you don't understand. I'm supporting an Islamic communist. It's crazy. If you're talking about Mamdani, Islamic, sure. Communist, no. By definition, also not a communist. You have to use words correctly. And then you say, that's a fact with an exclamation mark. Conservatism is literally just like saying a thing that you think and then saying that's a fact and thinking that that was a well-constructed argument. Am I wrong to think that his yarmulke is disrespectful to his religion, considering that they are supposed to represent? To be honest, I don't know. I don't even know why Jewish people wear yarmulkes. I'm not sure what the doctrine behind that is, so I have no opinion on that. you being arrogant doesn't prove anything. That's true. It doesn't prove anything. My arrogance would not be proof of anything, but my argument's pretty solid. If you have a counter to that argument, please feel free to give me that counter. That'd be great. Let me check messages real fast. Got that. Jen's gone. Oh, yeah, Jen's gone. So you guys can kind of do whatever you want right now, which is a reminder, we are crowdfunded. We do grift each and every single day. We have a gift goal that's in the bottom left or top left corner, depending on where you're watching, and we rely on your generosity to meet that gift goal each and every day. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App are the best ways to send it because that takes the least amount. Super Chats also work, and on TikTok, I don't even know if gifting is suspended or not. If it is, sorry about that. My bad. And if not, keep gifting to keep that live from being taken down. Lara Ali, Johnny D, Exotic Veteran, Lisa, and Eve, thank you for being our top gifters so far today on TikTok.
White nationalist, but at the same time, it's like if someone said Jewish nationalist, and I say this as someone who is Jewish, like I just think it would be.
I use the language the way it is described. White supremacy, Christian nationalism are terms that are used to describe it. Admittedly,
if you are both a Christian and a nationalist, then you are a Christian nationalist. If you are a person who believes whiteness should be treated differently, then you are a white supremacist.
White is a race and Muslim is a religion.
Christian, go look up Christian nationalist. It's a term that's used. So I would make up the rules, I would play by them.
Okay.
All right. That's still crazy. I didn't know that about Pete Ricketts. I feel like I should have been more prepared on Pete Ricketts on that. That took quite a turn. Okay. Yesterday in front of Congress, some of the members, some of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein were able to speak to members of Congress about their interactions with Todd Blanche and the DOJ. It's very important to remember that this administration tried desperately to cover up the Epstein files. They were forced to release them after incredible public pressure, but they are covering up the Epstein files. They've always tried to. Donald Trump has actively participated in the cover-up of the Epstein files, and he's done it publicly. And anybody still today repeating silly things like Donald Trump reported Jeffrey Epstein to the FBI, you're just choosing not to be informed. At this point, anybody who doesn't recognize that this is being covered up, I think you're just lying to yourselves. And I think that that's sad. And I think that you owe yourself better. But the victims have been trying to reach out to Todd Blanche. He ignored them forever. Sounds like now they're finally getting some communication. And it doesn't sound like he's taking it very seriously.
Ms. Stein,
this is only coming out of one headphone, by the way. So if you think there's no volume, switch headphones or maybe put on speakerphone for a second.
were you one of the people who met with Todd Blanche after his confirmation hearing and he was exhorted to meet with the victims?
Yes, I was.
Yes?
Yes.
So how did you feel? I mean, how would you describe how what his attitude was toward all of you in the meeting?
Well, I want to preface this by saying that we have been requesting meetings with the DOJ for months, and they have not indulged us or given us any indication that they would indulge us. And so it wasn't lost on us that this meeting happened only after Senator Tillis made it a requirement of Todd Blanche's promotion.
During his confirmation hearing, I asked whether the...
Why do we think that Todd Blanche refused to meet with them until it was a requirement? Met with Ghislaine Maxwell. That was no problem. I think it's one of the saddest parts of the state of our country right now is how many people are just looking the other way while the government, it hasn't always been obvious that the government was covering up the Epstein files. I think now, in hindsight, many of us probably recognize that we didn't spend enough time talking about the Epstein files or that we weren't aware of it or that we weren't educated. I think most people here would probably admit that to themselves, that until all this stuff came out, we didn't really understand what was happening. But the people that are still pretending, like Todd Blanche, hasn't been running interference for Jeffrey Epstein, for Donald Trump, and for Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know how you lie to yourself like that. That's a really strange way to exist. And that's you guys that are here. You're here defending the government. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Lemon Dunn. I'm saying that exact thing. Literally, you and I are saying the exact same thing. Well, yeah, I think that's a fair criticism, that the left didn't pay enough attention to Epstein until they lost power, until it was attached to Donald Trump. That is a fair criticism. I think that we should own that. I think we have. That doesn't change the fact that now Donald Trump is covering it up. And what does it say about you? That you're watching Trump and his administration cover it up, and you're closing your eyes and just looking at leftists. Both things can be true. You can blame the Democrats if you want. You can blame the Republicans too. It's not like Republicans were actively putting up bills to release the Epstein files. Neither party was getting this done. There's only been one party to vote unanimously to release the Epstein files ever, and that was the Democrats. There's only one Congress who put forward a discharge petition to force the DOJ to release it, and that was unanimously voted for by Democrats. Republicans were the ones that didn't want to bring it for a vote. They were the ones voting it down in committee. The same people who voted it down in committee when it became a full vote voted for it. They were so embarrassed. They knew that publicly they can't come out here now and publicly vote not to release the Epstein files. They were happy to do it in committee hearings because most of us didn't hear about it. Most of America doesn't know what goes on in committee hearings. So every one of these committees voted it down. And then when it's public, suddenly they're like, yeah, let's release it. It wasn't the Democrats who ended a congressional session early to go down to Florida so that they didn't have to vote on the discharge petition. That was the Republicans. It wasn't the Democrats who kept the discharge petition from, or I guess not the discharge petition, but the bills coming out from committee. In every single committee that it went before, Democrats voted unanimously to release the Epstein files, and Republicans blocked it every single time. So you might be right that the Democrats didn't care until they weren't in power. That's fair. That's a fair criticism. Yeah, no, I get you, London. You keep saying the same thing. The criticism is you didn't care about Epstein until you lost power, and you only care about it because you lost power. That's why we don't care about your pearl clutching. This isn't pearl clutching. These are victims right here. Is that what you would say to her face? That she's pearl clutching? That she's watching the government actively cover up for the abusers, the people that abused her? We don't care about you, victim, because Dems bad. Yeah, that's hypocrisy. I'm with you there. One of us is admitting that the Democrats didn't do anything before this. One of us is still playing the game. Lemon, I'm going to give you one chance. Is the Trump administration, and if you don't answer this, honestly, you'll be muted till tomorrow. Is the Trump administration actively covering up the Epstein files? You have one chance at this. See which one of us is a hypocrite now. Now my question, are they actively covering it up? Lemon, are they actively? Is Donald Trump and the DOJ actively covering this up? All conservatives say it. Say it. Donald Trump and the DOJ are actively covering up the Epstein files. Say it. If everybody says it, certainly you can. They didn't. No. Say it. Say it. Why are you running from this? Is Donald Trump and the DOJ? I want a yes or no. Are Donald Trump and the Department of Justice actively covering up the Epstein files? That's what I want. I just want a yes or no. Nope, you didn't. Yes or no, bud? Last chance. Next answer has to be yes or no, or else you get muted for the rest of the day. I like accountability Thursdays. Yes or no? Are they actively covering it up? You can't say yes or no. This is crazy. He's like a Trump appointee. We'll keep doing it. Yes or no? No, DH, they're not. Okay, who's covering it up then, DH? We'll play with all of you guys today. Why don't we have all the files then? I don't know what's being covered up. There's only 50% of the files have been released. Now you don't know. So all conservatives say it. Now you don't know. Yeah, are they actively covering up the Epstein files? This is an easy one. This is crazy. If we don't have all the files and they're the ones keeping it from you, Lemon, this isn't hard. Are they keeping it from you? I say we want the information. You're almost there. Okay, so who's keeping the information from you, Lemon? Who is it that is refusing to give you the information? We're almost there. Who's keeping? Yeah, I don't know what's being covered up because we don't have the info. Great. I'm not asking you what's being covered up. I'm asking you if they are covering up Epstein files. We know that they are because we have the total number of files, and we know that half of them haven't been released. One more. Come on. Who is blocking the release, Lemon? We're so close. We're so close. I'll give you a hint. The Department of Justice is tasked with releasing the files. And they are not releasing all the files. So if they're not releasing all the files, are they actively covering up the files? The CIA is not blocking it. They can't block it. Oh, Lemon. All right, last chance, bud. We got to block you today. I'm sorry. This is crazy. Is the DOJ covering up the Epstein files? Are they refusing to release the Epstein files? The CIA is not blocking it. Last chance. Last one, bud. You just got to say it. I really don't want to get rid of you. I really don't, but they can't block it. That's your cope. All right. See you later, dude. That's crazy. Yeah. How the fuck? You think the CIA can override a law passed by Congress? You think the CIA gets to override Congress? My brother, read the fucking Constitution. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. The CIA saw the law and they said, nope. Yeah, Mods, you can get rid of him. It's 24-hour ban there. Sorry, bud. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, back to the victims.
During his confirmation hearing, I asked whether his Todd Blanchard's attitude to our victims was one of dismissiveness. Would you say that that is a good way to describe his behavior toward you during the meeting?
We had approximately 4 hours to prepare for this meeting, and we did so. We went into that meeting in good faith with the hopes of working with Mr. Blanch.
Thanks, Monica, for the raid
In the Department of Justice. And we were met with gaslighting. We were met with Mr. Blanch talking around our questions instead of answering them. And we walked away with a feeling of, the best word that I can use is demoralization, because he did not come into that meeting looking to work with us in good faith.
All right. Semantics says, thanks for the reminder, Robert. Robert was reminding you guys not to send me money, I think. What we got you guys riled up. We got a Lemon. If you're still listening, dude, you got some defenders here. You have now convinced people who have never in their life heard that the CIA was blocking the release of the Epstein files. And just because they don't like me, we now have active participants in the chat who believed just a guy named Lemon who said the CIA is the reason that the files are not being released. And now they're defending that. They're like, yeah, you think the CIA is listening to the CIA is not covering up these files. We know where the files are. They could be released only by the DOJ. The CIA might have other information that we don't know about, but that's crazy. Okay. This is Chris Coons.
Van Hollen, Secretary.
If we remember, Howard Lutnick somehow still has a job, despite lying repeatedly in front of Congress about his Jeffrey Epstein contacts. Virtually everything he said wound up being patently untrue. Somehow he still has a job. Somehow nobody cares. It's weird, right? You wouldn't lie about going to Epstein Island and then get caught going to Epstein Island and then have the people that wanted the Epstein files released be like, yeah, we don't really care about that. Right? This administration that's so serious about Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump hated him so much that allegedly he reported in the FBI he wouldn't keep around somebody who was hanging out at Epstein Island with Epstein, right? But that's where we're at. Lutnick still has his job. Here's Chris Coons. We're just asking at some point for these victims, can we get some transparency?
Terry, we're here to talk today about the BEAD program.
Oh, sorry. Ack said, welcome, just Monty friends. And Amy said, to be fair, they believed Pelosi was more powerful than the president. That's a good point. They did think that Nancy Pelosi controlled the National Guard.
Delaware is the lowest mean elevation state in America and one of the flattest states in the whole country. So delivery of broadband hasn't faced any of the challenges or complications in more rural and mountainous states.
Winter's wrong place. Nobody here. Well, this isn't a Gavin Newsom stream. But please stay on subject. The wrong place for that. We're not Gavin Newsom fans here.
And my comments on BEAD are simple. The plan for Delaware has been approved. It's moving forward quickly. And I think this is overall for my state a success that came out of the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
Superman fan said Russian military evacuating Crimea. W, if that's true.
Since I've got the Secretary of Commerce in front of me, I'm going to touch on IP, AI chips, and tariffs, if I might, in the few minutes we have. I am impressed with Director Squire's leadership of the Patent and Trademark Office. I voted for him, and his efforts to restore the PTAB process to what Congress intended in the American Invents Act, a faster, cheaper alternative to going to district court. I support. I led a bicameral, bipartisan letter in support of his regulatory efforts, and I'd urge you in the administration to support my...
Sorry, he's getting to it. I forgot to clip out the first part of this, and I can't remember exactly where it starts. Chrissy said, fuck, marry, unalive in a video game, Dictator Edition, Vlad, Chump, and Netanyahu. That's a hard one between Vlad and Netanyahu. This is impossible. All right, I'm marrying Trump because I'm smarter than him, so I'm gonna get into his finances and I'm gonna get away. I'm gonna pay people back. I'm gonna try and make people whole with the money that he's made. Yeah, I think So I think I'm gonna get rid of Netanyahu and I'm gonna fuck Vladimir Putin because I think I can make a video of that and then use it to blackmail him and get him to do what I want. So there we go. Yeah, Netanyahu's gone. Trump's getting married. I'm taking all his money and giving it back to people. And Vlad's getting it and we're recording it and using it for blackmail. Kelsey said, is Hootie going to grow a pair today? Stop being a coward in the comment section and prove Jay wrong on literally anything. Oh, Hootie's here again. No, he won't. That's the guess. And Rachel, thank you for joining the $5 train. Appreciate it.
Act with Senator Tillis so we can codify legislatively what Director Squires is trying to do with regulation, but could be reversed by the next director. I am very concerned, though, with reports that you're considering a value-based patent tax that would charge inventors different fees based on the PTO's valuation. As a holder yourself of hundreds of patents, I found this puzzling. It is very complex and difficult to value a patent. I was in-house counsel to a global company that had a very large patent estate, and figuring out how we would administer.
All right, let me get past this part.
So could you...
A plan that is, we will avoid harming innovation by not doing a valuation or any valuation fee or tax on patents.
That's just about a dispute they have on patent taxes, which is bizarre for this administration, who's, again, supposed to help small business. You would think that would be a regulatory item that they would address and try to make cheaper, but that's not what this is about.
That is not a plan. That is not going anywhere. We are totally on side. That is not a thing the Patent Office is going to do, is try to say this patent is worth X. How in the world could we do that? How in the world could anyone reasonably do that?
It struck me as a completely unworkable proposal.
We are on the same side with that.
So let's move ahead with the defining technology of this century, which is artificial intelligence. The NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang, said on CNBC recently, if U.S. AI companies could have twice as much compute, their revenues would go up 4 times. These guys are so compute constrained. The demand is so incredibly great. He went on. I couldn't agree more with Jensen on this. NVIDIA's own CEO admitting that while they're making as many chips as they can, they are unable to fill the dramatic levels of demand from American companies like Anthropic or OpenAI or Google. And in that context, I was glad to see your department issue regulations, our own world-class American. Correct.
Right. So we agree the demand by America.
Because of tariffs on building supplies.
I'm sorry, guys. I thought I had
for the
saved
conversation. My concern is that overwhelmingly the supply of things. Senator Van Hollen asked about your engagements with your former neighbor, Mr. Epstein.
There we go.
I
Sorry
was
about that.
encouraged to see your declaration that in 2005 you concluded he was a disgusting man with whom you should have no contact. I wish many others reached that conclusion upon meeting him. But it troubles me that you took your family to lunch on his island, that you had appointments with him. Please disclose everything. Put this to rest, because this is an issue of grave concern to my constituents. President Trump ran on releasing the Epstein files. You said casually, well, I looked at my name and how it appeared in them, as does everyone. No, everyone isn't worried about their names being in the Epstein files. I know he was your neighbor. That was a coincidence. But please disclose everything that's relevant here so that we have a chance to work together and move on.
Can you guys just explain how he still has this job? Like every other country, if you had this level of connection to Jeffrey Epstein, you're stepping down. Why don't you guys take a stand on this? On any of this stuff? You can't turn on Todd Blanche. You can't turn. Is this just like an admission that you're not allowed to criticize this administration? Is that where we're at? You don't not really worried about who's running things, just you're only worried about the criticism. You don't want to be viewed as somebody who criticizes them. Mark, answer this question. I'll get rid of you too. John, who explained it to me? Oh, are you talking about the CIA thing? I think this was probably like Lemon's alt account. Was this account around before Lemon got booted? You're going to say the CIA again?
To the best of my memory, I met him when he moved next door to me, and I met him 2 other times in 14 years, none within 6 years of that first meeting, and then a year and a half later, and none thereafter. And in the presence of my wife, and as Senator Van Hollen said, under no circumstances is there a single word that I've done anything remotely wrong.
Okay, so why'd you lie, though? Let's say that all that stuff is true. Trudy said for the goal. Thank you. Oh, a big W for Trudy for the $50 sent over on Venmo. You admitted the CIA had info? Actually, I didn't. And this is, I am pretty sure you're Lemon. But what I actually said was, yeah, maybe the CIA does have information. I don't know. We wouldn't know if they had the information. We were talking about the information that the Department of Justice refuses to release. Right? So if there's other information we don't know about, that wouldn't apply to this conversation. You don't know if the CIA has information. I don't know if the CIA has information. But the CIA cannot block the Department of Justice from releasing what they have already.
In any possible regard, I did not have anything you could call a relationship, anything you could call an acquaintance. I literally met him 3 times.
You went to his house? You asked him if you could come to his house that wasn't like next door. It was on a private island and spend the holidays with him? And you just had an acquaintance. I barely knew him. We met 3 times, but I felt comfortable enough asking him to come spend the holidays with my family on his private island. I have a hard time believing that.
Over 14 years with widespread in between. That's all I can remember. That's all there is in the document. I didn't look through the documents with any fear whatsoever because I know and my wife knows that I have done absolutely.
Yeah, no fear except for when you came before Congress, you made up a story about going into his house, seeing a massage bed within 5 minutes, leaving his house, and you staring directly into your wife's eyes as this man who could stare into the souls of Jeffrey Epstein and said, we will never be friends or be in contact with that man ever again, and we never were. You told that whole story in front of Congress. And then now there's at least 3 additional times that we know you were with him and you went to his island. If you weren't worried, why'd you tell that whole story?
Absolutely nothing wrong in any possible regard.
Thank you for...
I mean, lying to Congress is wrong.
Answering our questions today.
Most of this hearing was supposed to be about...
All right, there we go. I don't know who did the AI cover on that. Sorry, that took so long to get into that one. Okay. So we had the vote yesterday. It passed through Congress with the NDAA. a lot of Republicans had a problem with the NDAA. That's the National Defense Authorization. For some reason, our military needs another $1.5 trillion. In that provision was an adjusted agreement where we would expand our intelligence sharing and cooperation with Israel, which is crazy to do right now, as an apartheid state actively doing a genocide and invading other countries. To look at Israel right now as if they are a good partner. There were a lot of people that were nervous about that. They had real problems with that. One of them was actually Lauren Boebert, and I'm only showing this clip to, one, show the Republican perspective of their frustration and how people just kind of use and abuse Republicans, and also to show you the end of this clip. So stay till the end. It's worth it.
A whole bunch of men trying to muscle me into voting for the NDAA. Section
Names. Who?
I
Who
don't
are
know
these
their,
men?
I don't know their freaking names. They're staffers.
They staff.
All right, listen to my story. If you want my story, I'm gonna
Sorry,
give it
sorry,
to you.
sorry.
All right. So all these staffers are in there trying
She
to
sounds like every drunk dummy I've ever met at a bar.
get me to vote for the NDAA. I want to vote for the NDAA. Section 219 is still in there. It's a big tech swap between us and Israel. We don't do that with anyone. I understand in the past, we've given them money for the Iron Dome, and then they get to keep the tech and we don't get any of it back. So I understand that, but it's a big issue on the left and the right. And many of my constituents have reached out. They don't want this provision in the bill. Well, the White House doesn't
I can fix her. How dare you?
want it in the bill. Secretary Hegseth doesn't want it in the bill. So I'm in the back waiting for a call from the secretary. I'm told that call is coming. I'm talking to someone underneath him, and I'm told the vote's going to stay open. They closed the vote. And so now I'm forced to talk to TMZ. While I do have an issue that we talked about off record, I don't want to be on camera this week, and I've been on camera more than any other week. I am talking out of the side of my mouth like a damn politician because my Botox hasn't caught up on this side. Maybe in 2 days, this side will catch up to the other side. But
Yeah. This freeze frame's good too. I'd go watch a movie with her. I mean, one, look how the Republicans are willing to just like jerk people around and leave them out of a vote and not give them any explanation. She misses the vote, gets stuck with this freeze frame. Somebody clip this, please. But that's what the MAGA government is busy doing right now. Setting up deals with Israel and spending more money. Why are we spending more money on the military? Anybody have an answer for that? Why do we need to spend more? Are we not wasting too much money on the military as it is? Trump is now, I think Trump now, it's something like $21 trillion of the national debt can be attributed to Donald Trump's administrations. 21 trillion. That's like half of our debt. And here we are cutting revenue, bringing in less taxes by percentage, and then increasing spending. We're blowing up the deficit. This is a guy that said Democrats spend too much. Is there a line in the sand at some point for any Republicans, I wonder? Just gonna sit here while everything gets worse and pretend it's not? Oh, no, I like that everything's unaffordable. That's good. I care more about EBT soda than I do a strong military. That's probably true for a lot of Republicans, to be honest. As long as poor people aren't getting anything, I'm happy. I actually kind of believe you there. Here is North Carolina voters. North Carolina, which will be a swing state in the foreseeable future. We have midterms coming up, and I want to talk about how these unpopular views by Republicans are affecting midterm voters. Not to get cocky, and Danielle will get mad about this if I don't say it this way, but one of the things that's important in the midterm elections is that Democrats show up in overwhelming numbers for two reasons. One, because we know elections can be cheated and manipulated. We know they literally can change votes. We know that for a fact. It's hard to do. It requires a lot of organization. It requires a lot of people staying quiet, but it's possible. And it needs to be overwhelming to the point where if there are any of these races that go the wrong way, that it's obvious they shouldn't have gone that way, we can put pressure on spineless Democrats to actually call for investigations and audits. But when you go around and you see how people are talking about what Trump is doing, it's not good. It's really hard to find videos of people being asked about what the Trump administration is doing and hearing them say, like, oh, he's doing a great job. The only time you ever really hear that is from members of Congress who were there to just sniff his balls.
This war has been it's been taxing on everyone. And I'm on the fixed income. And so.
By the way, these I believe these people are all people who voted for Donald Trump. I don't know if it's all of them. I know it's some of them for sure, but I think when they made this video, they were only talking to Trump supporters.
It's other ones that are on fixed income are really feeling it.
If you could talk directly to the president, we know he likes to watch TV. What would you tell him about this war?
President Trump.
I mean, you didn't have to guess who she voted for. Nobody had any questions.
You shouldn't have got us in this war and was going to end it fast, soon, and now you're starting all over again.
Has the war helped your life at all?
No. For one thing, it causes me angst, makes me angry. And as I said, I'm very disillusioned. My entire family is disillusioned. And we are and were Trump supporters, but this is, to me, he's drawn a line in the sand. And that's how I feel. That's how we all feel.
Lecture Dad said this is a high school dropout crazy. I think you were talking about Bobo there. I would just say that if we ask the MAGA in the chat the same question, and we will, like, what do you guys think about Trump's war in Iran? Do you think that he's doing a good job? Do you think this is benefiting you? We know we hate the American flag. Who cares? That's crazy. You hate the American flag. Why do you care about that? Who the fuck gives why do you give a shit about the flag? That should be number like 10 trillion on your list. Shouldn't all humans be more important than a flag first? Like literally any issue that affects humans should come before I love the flag. Even Fox News is just openly now like criticizing the war. And the reason they're doing this is not because they have an opinion. It's because they see the direction of the country. They see the direction of their viewers. They have to now start saying, like, this isn't going well. And they're starting to realize how this is going to affect the midterms. Now, I don't know how much Trump cares about the midterms, to be honest. I think we have to be vigilant. I think we have to be aware that it's possible that Trump will cheat. It might not be. If Democrats win the Senate and the House and Trump's worried about being impeached, do any of you really think he won't just quit and move? He has the protection of the presidency. He's made more money since he's been president than his entire life combined. Why would he not just fuck off and go be the president of, or the king of the what's that stupid organization, like the peace group? What are they called? What's that stupid group that they came up with in the Middle East? He doesn't have to run to Argentina. He gets to go be the board of peace. Thank you. Why wouldn't he just fuck off to the Middle East somewhere and go run the board of peace with his billions of dollars? He doesn't give a fuck. Even you, MAGA, you know, he doesn't give a fuck about you. So either they have a really good plan and they're going to release a bunch of information between now and the midterms, or Trump just like literally doesn't give a fuck. His ego's in the way. He's going to burn the entire Republican Party down and then get the hell out of here, or not. It may be like, it'd be like Trump must know that he's fucking up. You listen to J.D. Vance on Rogan. It was a long form interview. Like he's acknowledging over and over the amount of things that they fucked up. I don't know why Trump wouldn't just fuck off. You guys think he'll stay here for you? You think he's going to stay and be accountable? It's no shot.
9 straight days, they're really hitting Kuwait hard, and they're hitting Bahrain, but Jordan is the biggest surprise.
Yes.
We got to get missile defense there. It's as simple as that.
But I do expect that we're going to be there.
These are just all Fox News clips now criticizing the Trump administration's handling of the war.
Long time. You know, Operation Northern Southern Watch went on for, almost 20 years, I think. So
one of the things that's really alarming right now is that those strikes on Jordan were pretty advanced weapons. And we certainly felt like a lot of the strikes previously had taken out a lot of their missile capabilities. So that is definitely alarming.
We have to do. Mark Warner is right. Bombing alone may not work. We do not, nor have we ever controlled the Straits of Hormuz.
Because, there aren't too many.
Hey, guys, Susan wants us to know that Trump's the only president to lose money, and we need to get our facts right. Susan, Google right now. Has Trump gained or lost money as president of the United States? Just Google it right now and tell us what you come. You got to just post it in the chat, what it says.
Approaches. There aren't too many choices left available. Unfortunately, once you've started something like this, the way you finish it is with American ground troops. And, we're saddened and disgusted to hear about those newly minted Gold Star families. That is not what we want. But if we see a ground invasion, you're going to see a lot more than that. And you're going to have young people whose lives are destroyed. And, we're not going to be saying their names every day on TV. And
that's not Tarlov.
It's not just politically
like
costly. It's at some point it gets to be immoral.
The only other option is another deal. And the deal is probably, I hate to say this is not a political comment, but it may be worse than the deal Obama struck. Because
did Susan really say Google is too woke? Did she really say that? Good Lord.
You're going to have to unfreeze all of that money if we don't want to put troops on the ground. Because guess who else knows we don't want to put troops on the ground? The Iranians. Yeah. So, again, this is not what...
The question is, has he gained more than he's lost? All right. Let's do it for you here, Arturo. Has Trump made more money than he lost during his presidency? Let's see here. You could have done this, but I got you. Donald Trump has made significantly more money than he lost during his presidency, with his overall net worth and annual business revenues surging into the billions through properties, licensing, and cryptocurrency ventures. His first-term net worth fluctuation during his first term, estimates from sources like Forbes indicated his overall net worth actually dipped from roughly $3.7 billion down to $2.5, largely due to pandemic-related pressures on his urban real estate, hotels, and golf properties, even as his businesses brought in over $1.6 billion in outside revenue. Now, remember, those are his businesses. Those are the ones he started. Wasn't doing super well. Second term, following his return, his personal income and asset valuation scaled dramatically. Financial disclosures and analysis, such as those reported by Forbes, highlighted single-year hauls exceeding $2.4 billion, propelled heavily by cryptocurrency initiatives, digital tokens, licensing agreements, and surging values of properties like Mar-a-Lago. So he got all his money back by running scams. Yeah, brother. Trump released his finances. He released his disclosures. We know. Goddamn, what the fuck, man? What the fuck do you have to do? What evidence do you need ever? You think just everybody's fucking lying to you always? It's crazy, man. It's every time, no matter how many sources we give, it won't matter. Like, what's that source? Find me one source that says he's lost more money. Yeah, you, Arturo. Like, brother, how do you not know this? You watch this show all the time. We've covered these stories all the time. Did he reject any of these earnings? Did he ever say, like, no, I didn't make this? They took his financial disclosure report with bond filings, securities documents, and court records to pinpoint a more specific number than the at least $2.2 billion, and they came up with $2.4 billion. According to Trump and his disclosures, $2.2 billion. Forbes thinks it's 2.4. From crypto schemes.
What I want to have happen, Mark Warner loves this country.
Coming up, the U.S. launching more strikes tonight in Iran. A live report from the region.
Ty.
Plus, what's this going to do to Republicans in the midterms? 3 members of our military were killed over the weekend. A tragedy. And with the midterm elections a little more than 100 days away, the clock is ticking for President Trump to get out of this war before voters head to the polls. It's making a lot of Republicans nervous. It's already, as we know, unpopular. According to the new Washington Post Ipsos poll, 69% of Americans disapprove of the handling of this conflict. Republicans cannot let this become an endless distraction, especially if they want to win in November.
All right. Fox is worried. You were even lying to yourself. What are you talking about, pussyfoot? You're a weird dude. You're saying some weird things, man. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to. The stuff you're saying makes me feel like that it's socially unacceptable for me to mock you. You can leave it at that. Like I feel uncomfortable mocking you based on the things that you're saying. I don't think it's the right thing to do. Here's a new story. Look for in the next month or two, the people who are tracking Trump cryptocurrency purchases. Look for those people, maybe CoffeeZilla, to find a bunch of Saudi investment in Trump cryptocurrencies, either his World Liberty Financial or his meme coins, or start watching the Kushners and the Trump kids and see if they're involved in nuclear. In fact, somebody Google right now. Jen, will you look right now to see if you can attach the Kushners, the Witkoffs, or the Trumps to a nuclear deal, like sitting on the board of a nuclear company? I actually think that there might be one. I can't remember. I don't know if Vulcan Energy does nuclear, but let me know.
Tonight, Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying President Trump's sudden announcement of a deal to allow Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium is news to him.
Oil and gas in the Middle East spiked last night. Thanks for covering the insane effing war and the resulting shit show. Thanks, Illusion.
The Wall Street Journal is reporting that President Trump has approved a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia. Do you have any details on that?
Yeah, I'll let the White House officials sort of put out an official statement about anything with regards to that. But I saw the same reporting this morning. But let me let that go through. And I'd prefer it be put out when there is something to say. That we'll say it through official channels.
Why would we be doing that? Isn't this all right? We don't want Iran to be a nuclear power. We don't want Iran apparently to have nuclear energy. But Saudi Arabia is fine. I see a lot of like propaganda every day on Twitter. One of the things that they love doing is showing like videos of the Twin Towers on 9/11 to criticize Mamdani and to try and justify the war in Iran. Like do just a slight bit of homework and remember who funded 9/11. Israel can have nukes. Saudis can have nuclear power. And it doesn't seem like there's any restrictions on enrichment either. Just want to explain this one? This is America First, though, right?
It was awkward. And Marco Rubio, of course, just to state the obvious, is an official channel. In fact, as official as it gets for a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, as he is both the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor. Trump has signed a deal with Saudi Arabia, allowing the kingdom to move towards enriching uranium without international safeguards. The agreement is something denied Saudi Arabia by every administration, every one, just as it's been denied to Iran. It comes as Trump's family business, though, is increasingly tied to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Democrats have funded both countries, too. Shh. Shh. Democrats don't fund other countries. Congress does. We're not funding Saudi Arabia. We're not funding Iran. We are funding Israel.
Dan Alexander is out front now, senior editor at Forbes, whose reporting has tracked the Trump family business ties to Saudi Arabia for many years. So, Dan, this deal coming in the context of a lot of Trump family, Trump organization business in Saudi Arabia. It doesn't look good at all. How big are the deals Trump is making with Saudi Arabia?
Last year in 2025, Donald Trump earned $9 million from deals inside the country, but he also has one.
It was $9 million. That's how much Trump made for deals inside the country.
One of his most connected partners that's from Saudi Arabia that's helped spread his name throughout the Middle East. And that adds another $17 million.
Guess you never heard of that oil-backed American dollar from Saudis. That doesn't mean that the Democrats are funding Saudi Arabia, JJ. Brother, just shut up. Shush again. We should shush you for a while. That was stupid. Sully said, thank you guys for everything you do. Big W for Sully sending $100 over on Venmo. Appreciate you, buddy. You're always so generous.
You add those two things up together, you're at $26 million. That's a little bit more than a third of Trump's international licensing business with ties to Saudi Arabia.
That's right. And then there's even things like the massive, billions of dollars in funds going into Jared Kushner's money management business, all of those ties as well. So the relationship, I know, goes back decades. You're reporting.
Real quick. Oh, shit. These are going through. Oh, those are yesterday. Sorry. Never mind.
Though, Dan, shows a dramatic shift after Trump became president. In what way?
What linked Donald Trump to Saudi Arabia for years was sort of, he had a lot of money. A lot of people in Saudi Arabia had a lot of money, and they really liked to spend it. So that you saw them doing deals on flashy things, yachts, the Plaza Hotel, apartments in Trump World Tower across from the United Nations. Once the presidency gets involved, you see it be much less sort of happenstance. And they're
all this time, 2001, they're buying Trump condos. They also funded 9/11 at the same time. I mean, Trump's in bed with like the worst people on earth his entire life. Do you guys know this? There was during this time, a Saudi prince also bought I don't remember if it was a property in Florida or California, but he paid like 3x the asking price. Trump had a property that had been sitting on the market for like 2 or 3 years. Nobody wanted to buy it. And suddenly a Saudi prince bought it for like 2 or 3x the asking price. Nobody did anything about it.
Big efforts. You mentioned Jared
Trump condoms. He doesn't do condoms.
Kushner's fund raising $2 billion from the Saudi government. But then there's also, all these licensing deals that come on board. Donald Trump had done.
That's what he said. Jen's right. The gift goal is feeling neglected.
Business in the Middle East, but not really in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? That you have that huge gap, right? The huge gap of the Saudis wanting to work with Trump. And then all of a sudden, Trump's this great businessman with the Saudis. They came in, they buy Live Golf. By the way, they're out of Live Golf now. They give Trump all this money, bad investment. He sets up a deal with them to do Trump Tower Jeddah. We talked about that. That's obviously a conflict of interest. Then I think this is when I think they started construction. It might be done here. Then Trump Oman project, 2022 as well. Trump Riyadh projects, John Jr. Investment Summit. Like, this is if Hunter Biden had any of these things, Joe Biden might have actually been impeached. You might have actually got some Democrats on board to impeach Joe Biden. Wasn't that property the one EPS was trying to buy? EPS. Which property are you talking about? Not sure which. I'll watch for you in the chat, Oslo.
Before he becomes president the first time. Then in 2022, you see that deal in Oman with the Saudi company. And then you see him expand into Saudi Arabia, principally in 2024, 25, and going into this year.
So, I'm just looking at this on the screen. Trump Plaza Jeddah, Trump Tower Jeddah, all of these things. Is there, where are we now? Is there any sign Trump is done? I mean, this is obviously a close relationship.
Oh, are you saying the Epstein, you said EPS was Epstein. Okay. So you're saying the one that Trump bought, is that the one that he sold later? I don't know if that's the same property, to be honest. You might know better than I. Is that the same property that he sold later? Because he paid like 40, what did he pay, 40 million for it or something like that? No, that's the one that he sold to the Russian billionaire. Kind of the same story. That's the Florida one. So the California one, I think, is the one sold to the Saudi billionaire. The Florida one is the one he sold to Dimitri, whatever. So yeah, he did it twice.
It certainly is. If you look at Donald Trump's international business, what you see is he keeps going back to the same partners over and over to do more deals. And right now, if you were to look across the world, his most dedicated partner is his partner in Saudi Arabia. So I would not be surprised at all if we see more deals in the future between the president and Saudi companies.
That's incredible, though. You're saying his most dedicated deal maker around the world in Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
That as I said, when you do that and then you look at the nuclear deal, whatever may or may not be the optic.
We just lost TikTok. How did we lose TikTok for that? What was that banned for, Jen? That's great.
Are really bad. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yeah, we'll get it back, I'm sure. Or eventually we'll just lose it. I'm sure why. I don't know how that one got us to lose TikTok. Maybe they're shutting down CNN clips because they were trying to buy CNN. I don't know. All right. Caroline Leavitt was asked about this. Let's hear if there's a you let me know. You think this is a good answer or not? She was asked about this morning.
Why does Saudi Arabia get a civilian nuclear deal, but Iran doesn't get a civilian nuclear deal?
Well, again, this agreement is still being worked out. Well, it will eventually, hopefully, be finalized with the condition that the president spoke about this morning. But this agreement in particular, as it's been discussed thus far, does give priority access for American companies in the Saudi nuclear energy program, which will ultimately benefit American industry workers and supply chains. So the deal that has been discussed thus far and will continue to be discussed absolutely puts America.
So this allows people who create, who make the, I think the reactors that Saudi Arabia would need, the components to put together a nuclear program. This allows America to sell that to them. I think it's probably part of the conditions is that they have to buy American. Now, cool, except for that doesn't benefit any of you at all. It doesn't, not a single fucking person in here is going to benefit from this. Who is going to benefit? The people who paid Donald Trump. The Saudis and the nuclear companies that I'm guessing, I don't know, did anybody find a nuclear company tied to Trump? Acronista said, Trump engages in modern-day slavery in Saudi Arabia and a couple of Gulf countries. His hotels hire immigrants and remove their documentation, charge them obscenely high rent so they are working for just about enough money for food. This isn't exclusive to Trump properties. It is common practice in the region, but it's still crucial to know this about Trump. Good point. Does anybody have the name of one? Let's look. Let me use Perplexity this. Okay. Oh. I forgot. I fucking forgot about this. Trump Media. Remember this? I forgot. How did we forget this? Remember about a month or two ago when Trump Media, which is True Social, merged with a nuclear fusion company, TAE Technologies? And then that board has Don Jr. and Devin Nunes. I forgot about that. Also says a separate Trump-linked nuclear company, Entra One. Tommy Hicks described as an advisory board member. Hicks is a Trump associate and former RNC co-chair, but that is an advisory role than for formal corporate board seat. Fermi America has drawn attention because of its ties to former Trump officials and family members of Trump allies. Okay.
I was trying to get an article behind the Wall Street Journal paywall about it. It was for misinformation. I submitted the appeal. It hasn't gone through yet.
Trump Media and Technology Group announced a $6 billion merger with the nuclear fusion company TAE Technologies. Who owns TAE Technologies? Find out where those people are from. Forming partnership between Trump's. Yeah, he's gonna fuck off to the Middle East. He's just setting this up to leave to the Middle East. McCall Bindebauer. Let's see. The company has raised money from outside investors rather than by one person. Public reporting say backers include Google, Chevron, New Enterprise Associates, and other private investors. Is there any Saudi investment? TAE closed a $250 million Series G in July 2026 that was described as being led by a consortium of Gulf and Asian sovereign wealth investors. Nice. So in the Gulf states, Chevron, Google, the Kuwait Investment Authority, and Trump all merged and invested in TAE Technologies, a nuclear fusion company. And then Trump is now allowing nuclear fusion to happen in Saudi Arabia, and certainly none of those jobs will go to these fusion companies. This is crazy. I know just nobody's going to care. There's nothing that any of you will care about. That's crazy. Just wait for it. Somebody clip this. Within 2 or 3 months, we're going to find out Trump's nuclear fusion company is getting these contracts. And also clip this. No Republican will care. They'll talk about Obama getting a Netflix deal after he left office. That'll be the defense. Everybody that's here will be repeating that. That's the same Republicans that argue with us every day. We'll just be like, what about Obama's Netflix? All right, let's talk about what does affect us every single day. That's corruption. It's not going to benefit us. It's not great. But what does affect us every single day? I think somebody needs to talk to Tom Emmer, because Tom Emmer seems to be living in a different country than the rest of us are living in.
Southern border. It's about an economy that is starting to work for everyone. You look at real wages are growing faster than inflation. You look at the
Is that true? Are real wages growing faster than inflation? Let's fact check this. Are real wages outpacing inflation? Let's check that. Over the last 12 months, real hourly earnings went down 0.1 for all workers and down around 0.7 for typical production, non-supervised. Okay, so no. For the last 12 months, they've gone down. In June, real wages went positive for the first time in months. And they were they were fueled by stronger nominal wage gains and a slight dip in inflation. And then we got 0.1% growth. So no, they're not. That was a lie. It just one month out of the last 12, they went up. They slightly went up.
Look at the lower rungs of the prosperity ladder in this country. They are actually catching up for the first time in years. They're
I love this. This is a crazy argument. This is the same argument that Besant has used, but he says that the lower rungs, like the poorest people in this country, are actually catching up for the first time in years. I want you to pay attention to what his evidence for that is.
In years, their spending is up about 6% right now.
They're spending more. That just means things cost more. The poorest people among us don't have disposable income. If they're spending more, it's because things are more expensive. They're not putting money away. They're not making decisions to spend more now because things are better. Judging how the poor are doing by the amount they're spending is not an accurate representation of the financial situation of the poorest people in this country. He's literally saying prices went up and so they're doing better.
They are feeling better about the economy. And if their perception is they're in a better place than they were under Joe Biden and they see a bright future, guess what, guys? We're going to hold the House. We're going to hold the Senate, and we're going to.
If that's what you're relying on to hold the House and the Senate, if you're right about this, you're fucked. Nobody feels that way. There's absolutely nobody that's struggling in this country that's like, actually, because I'm spending more than I was before, I'm feeling better about things.
Finish out Trump's term in style.
And Congressman, I do have to point out, though, that there still are many Americans on both sides of the aisle who.
You think Trump will take the Jets and pull a McConnell? I do. I think there's a real possibility that this midterms changes. That the midterms will change something for Trump. I don't think anybody should rule out Trump fleeing the country, because he doesn't even have to flee under threat of prosecution, because the Supreme Court already gave him that golden parachute. Everything he's done in office, we're not going to be able to prosecute him for. So he's going to leave. Republicans will give him cover. Then they'll slowly rebuild. I mean, if this happened, let's just play it out. If it happened, let's say that the Democrats sweep the midterms. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to say, we're going to impeach and try and remove Donald Trump. If you're Donald Trump, what would you do? You would bounce, for sure. You can't pass any more legislation because you don't have the House and the Senate. You're going to leave. Put it on J.D. Vance. Yeah, and by the way, this is another reason why I've got a problem with Joe Biden's preemptive pardons. Now, preemptive pardons are fine. There's also historical precedent when we pardoned Richard Nixon. So he can just leave with all of his money, get a preemptive pardon by J.D. Vance. He has the protection from the Supreme Court. Congress now is passing laws that won't apply to him either. You don't think he would tap out? You're out of your mind, MAGA, if you think Donald Trump would stay and fight if he was going to be impeached. Do I want him to go to jail? Sure. But can we make more money? But we can make more money. Yeah, I mean, maybe he's trying to set his kids up. He certainly has given them all the opportunity in the world to make a bunch of money off of his role as president.
Who are feeling financial pressure, financial strain on various levels, whether it be because of the war in Iran or maybe inflation not going down as quickly as we had hoped. What is your message to them? Because we keep telling them to be patient, and they may feel that they just don't have patience left.
Well, Katrina, I guess I'm pushing back on that by telling you that while there are people, and there always will, that are going to be struggling, what they're saying compared to what is happening is not matching. And what you're going to see, I believe, is by early September, those two things, the perception of their economic reality and their literally the economic reality, are going to be intersecting. The economy.
How? He thinks that by September, everybody who thinks they're struggling right now will magically change their mind. They'll magically realize that what they have felt all this time was wrong. It's almost August. Tom Emmer I think this is one of those other like MAGA true believers. It baffles me. Is Danielle here? This is the dumbest plan of all time. If Republicans don't have a plan to cheat in the midterms, how on God's green earth do they expect to stay in power? They are so far removed from the pulse of the American people. Tom Emmer with a straight face, and you can see the Newsmax people pushing back. They're like, well, Kate, listen, man. I appreciate you saying that. I know you bring up their spending, but like our viewers are feeling this, and we keep telling them, be patient, be patient, be patient. And Tom Emmert's response to that is, they're going to realize that this whole time they've been wrong. And they're going to realize it by September, that they've been wrong this whole time, and they're actually doing really well. If they don't have a plan to steal the election, what the fuck is the plan? I do feel bad for those of you in the chat that have to censor your language when I don't have to. I think that sucks for you. What was that? I saw somebody with a bunch. The dumbest fucking plan of all time is voting fucking communism in this fucking great country of ours, and dumb fucks like you pushing it. Nobody here is pushing communism. That was your response. That was a human being's response to the fact that Tom Emmer is telling poor people that they're wrong, and they're going to realize it. In this, someone went just full meathead. It's like, actually, communism is the dumbest. All right. Good comment, bud. Great comment.
Nobody's talking about 99-cent eggs, and you're correct, by the way.
Ooh, where the fuck are eggs 99% or 99 cents? Does anybody have is that 99 cents each? Where are eggs 99 cents? How much are eggs right now? I haven't bought eggs for a while. $2.15 a dozen. Okay. That's the average price. Wow, eggs did come down. Nice. I didn't know they were down so much.
When you talk about, for instance, gas prices because of the war in Iran have been definitely impacted, and people see that on a daily basis. But I would argue to you that with the president of peace, what he tried to do with Iran.
Spending, you already said spending was up 6%. This is just further proof that they don't have a plan. Like, they're acknowledging that poor people are spending more than they were before. It's up by 6%. What are you going to tell those people? I know everything's more expensive, but did you see the egg prices? Demian, thank you for the $5. Appreciate that. Jen wants me to remind you guys that if there's about 1,000 people here right now, And if we all jumped on the dollar train, we'd knock out the remaining balance of that gift goal quick, fast, and in a hurry. If you'd like to support our work, you can do it two ways. You can donate to our daily goal, which we have to hit to keep the lights on every single day, or you can become a paid member, or both. We have paid memberships available on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. And if you become a paid member, you can join us for members-only events like we had last night, where Jen brings her date, and sometimes we call my mom and ask her questions. Great.
And he told everybody that once he got to that point, you were going to see gas prices come tumbling down, Katrina. We, in fact, saw that until the Iranians
We did not.
balked on the deal. I would say the IRGC balked on the deal.
Also, inflation came down.
Gas came down to like 380. It didn't come tumbling down.
Shortly after that did.
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
Congressman Tom Emmer, sir, we got to leave it there.
All right. You sell your eggs 2 dozen for $3. Well, if you're in Arizona, I'll buy your eggs from you. It's a great price. 9% under your puppet master, Joe Biden. Brother, like, just address what's happening right now. I don't know how many more times we have to say that we don't like Joe Biden, or I have to explain inflation to you. It's just a pathetic existence if you can't acknowledge that you're being lied to right now. When you're being lied to, you're just like, I am going to ignore that and talk about Joe Biden instead. Just be better than that. All right, here is Elizabeth Warren. Fair warning to everybody in this chat. We have a standing rule here on this show that when we show clips of Elizabeth Warren, who is brilliant, anybody who calls her Pocahontas gets muted for the longest mute we can have. So while we're playing this, don't call her Pocahontas if you want to stay here. It's a 24-hour mute for anybody who says the word Pocahontas, or even or any call to her indigenous heritage. That's how we play. We're going to only address the economic arguments here. Here's Elizabeth Warren talking to the trade ambassador. What is his name? Jameson Greer. Doesn't go well for Jameson Greer for two reasons. The main reason is Trump's trade and tariff policies don't make any sense. And secondly, because Jameson Greer is not very good at this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Donald Trump campaigned for office, going out every day promising that he would lower costs for American families on day one. Then he takes office and he slaps tariffs on and off and on and off nearly every product that we import. Americans are now paying for it. Based on an analysis from the Congressional Budget Office and the Treasury Department's own numbers, Trump's tariffs are cost families an average of $1,700. And that was before his illegal war in Iran pushed prices even higher.
Red Votes Blue said, donate, donate, donate. Thank you. Appreciate that. Betsy said, for the grift goal, great. And it was grift goal. Great show as usual. Thank you. Natalie said 25 new fires started yesterday in Central Oregon. Jesus. Are those like naturally occurring fires, or are people lighting fires in Oregon? Fuck. Shout out to our friends in Oregon.
So, Ambassador Greer, over a year ago, you sat in this very room, and my Democratic colleagues and I asked you
Thanks, Melissa, for the Antifa dues.
About Trump's chaotic across-the-board tariffs and said they will drive up prices. And you said, no, we can have tariffs and lower prices. Well, now we have the receipts. So let's just clear this one up.
To be clear, tariffs, by every measure, increased prices. All along the way, the Trump administration said they will not increase prices. The tariffs will be paid by other countries. I want to point this out as we go over this, and the same dipshits will criticize Elizabeth Warren. She was right then. The data now backs her up. And you guys are about to be mad about the data and not the fact that, once again, you were lied to. The cost of goods went up. It costs you more to live in America now than it did before. And those are directly attributable to Trump's policies. And the result was completely foreseeable. If you know what a tariff is, and you understand basic economics. So you are left now with the reality, one of two realities that you have to address. Either one, they lied to you, or two, they are really, 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 really fucking stupid. And the whole time, what looked like lies was just incompetence and lack of understanding of basic junior high economics. Just math. Just add a percentage to the cost of goods. Who pays it? Those are the two options. They lied to you, or they are holy Christ dumb.
Ambassador Greer, have Trump's tariffs increased prices for American families?
Senator, no. Core inflation fell to 2.6% year on year. Much better than in January 2025.
You do not measure prices with core inflation. Core inflation takes into account prices, but you measure prices by measuring prices.
So you're saying that what the Congressional Budget Office and the Treasury Department's own numbers, that families are paying an average of $1,700 more. Are you saying your own Treasury Department and your own Congressional Budget Office just don't know what they're talking about?
Well, I'm interested in seeing what Treasury numbers you're talking about. No one's given them to me to look at, so I want to verify those.
Actually, they've been out there in public now for at least the last 6 months. They've been widely distributed because families are paying more. And there's no serious economist around the country, there's no serious person who looks at those numbers and thinks that families are doing better. Trump's tariffs mean that families have paid, on average,
somebody get rid of Dean Johnson, too. You can't circumvent the rules, Dean.
$100 last year. And now the United States Supreme Court has said that those tariffs were illegal and that the Trump administration has to give people their money back.
Not only did they lie, they also acted extra constitutionally. And the thing they lied about now, they are forced to pay back. Meaning that not only did it cost you more money, but now the money that they brought in for tariff revenue that you essentially paid has to be paid back. And it will not be paid back to you. It will be paid back to the companies that you bought product from. So you are being hit on both sides of it. Not only did you have to pay more for the cost of goods, but now you are on the hook for the debt of us repaying them. And who is making money from that? How about Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's buddy? His company sold insurance contracts. And they took on the front end expense of these tariffs, saying that if there is a refund for these tariffs, we get the refund. They're going to make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, all while Howard Lutnick went on TV every single day and was like, tariffs will not increase the cost of goods. The other countries pay the tariffs. So he lied to you. He's going to make millions of dollars for his cut. And we still can't get you to be like, oh yeah, I think they may not be acting in our best interest. They must be lying to us for a reason. There's got to be, this must be the 4D chess we were waiting for.
So far, the administration has been slow walking. Ambassador
lightning strikes. Damn, Natalie. I hope you're safe. Trish, Swish, thanks for joining the Dollar Train.
Greer, are American consumers going to get any refunds on the tariffs that were illegally collected from them?
So, Senator, when the court ruled on this, they did exactly what the Democratic attorney generals who sued asked to do, which was to give money back to the companies, foreign and domestic, that paid the tariffs. That's what Democratic attorney generals asked to do. They didn't say give it to consumers.
So
they said give it to companies. So that's what we have to do.
That's not true. The court could not rule for individuals. The court has to rule on the case. You have to have cause, right? Or standing. The people that were charged the tariffs by the government were not the consumers. The companies were the ones charged by the government. So they are the ones who can sue the government. This is like pretty gross political doublespeak here. But explain it accurately. The reason the court didn't say the court doesn't get to choose to send it back to the consumers. These companies sued the United States federal government for charging them tariffs that they weren't allowed to charge because the company had to pay them. And then the company had to choose whether or not to eat that tariff themselves or pass it along to the consumers. Depending on the companies, some of them ate partial amounts of the tariff. I'm sure some of these companies ate the entirety of the tariff. But most of the companies just pass that along to the consumer because that's what you do. Then it's up to the company whether or not they want to reimburse the consumer. Somebody in the chat said, I guess, like Nintendo's refusing to give any of that money back. And most of these companies aren't going to give money back to the consumers. This is just gross. I don't know why you guys allow this to happen to you. This isn't about owning the libs. This is you. This is bending you over, fucking you aggressively in the ass, and then telling you that you were not bent over and aggressively fucked in the ass. And you're like, oh, that's right, I was not. I forgot. It was something, nothing happened at all.
I understand that's how they got standing. But the question I'm asking the administration, are you going to get money back to the American people?
Made you and Bobo in a spicy pick in Discord enjoy? I'll look for it.
Who paid more? What the data show is the American people picked up about 95% of the cost of those Trump tariffs. They've paid an average of $1,700. And I just want to know if you even have the slightest effort, making even the slightest effort to try to get some of that money back into the pockets of American families, or does that just not matter to the Trump administration?
So what happened is
the courts again.
Foreign.
By the way, the question is, are you guys going to do anything? Are you going to try and do anything? Not what are other people doing? The Trump administration's bailing out the farmers right now. They could absolutely do a bailout. I don't want them to, for the record. You could maybe try and pressure these companies to return some of that investment back to employ. I mean, there's not a great deal the Trump administration can do, but just remember that that's the question. Do you guys plan on doing anything?
And domestic importers, right, who are buying foreign goods, not goods from American workers, foreign goods made by foreign workers who had to pay a fee on those foreign goods. Those foreign importers' records, domestic importers' records, they can file, they had to pay the tariff, they can get the tariff back. Manufacturing workers' wages have gone up $2,600, way beyond what the Biden budget lab at Yale has calculated.
They haven't. What we know is that thousands of factory workers have lost their jobs. That means their incomes have gone to zero. But I take it what you're saying. I think I've got...
That's an interesting way that the Trump administration has been measuring. And so they hate the Yale budget lab. And the Yale budget lab takes into account what Elizabeth Warren just said, the amount of people who lost their manufacturing jobs. And the Trump administration massages these numbers and says, look, wages for manufacturing jobs have gone up. That's not really what happened, though. What happened is a bunch of people on the lower end of the spectrum lost their jobs entirely, and those jobs went away. And so it raised the amount that the average worker was making. And the Trump administration keeps pointing to that, like, see, it's going well. They leave out the fact that they have lost. It's something like, I think on net, somewhere around like 100,000 manufacturing jobs. They're not really lying about the wages, that the average wage of a manufacturing job has gone up. It's just that they're not explaining why the average wage went up. It's because we lost somewhere around 100,000. I think it's like 78,000. Somebody can check that, but I think it's somewhere around there.
Your answer here, and that is the Trump administration just doesn't care, isn't even lifting a finger to try to get one nickel of the money that was collected from consumers back into the pockets of the consumers. And that certainly is where they are right now.
Thanks, Colin.
Instead, what you've been doing is searching for other ways to see if you can take money out of the pockets of consumers with tariffs. And just this week, you slapped on new tariffs using an obscure law from the 1930s, plus using something called Section 301. But here's my question. Ambassador Greer, if the Supreme Court strikes down your next round of tariffs, do you have a plan in place for how to return the money that American consumers pay?
I lost my manufacturing job under Biden. Cool. That sucks. And make more at my new manufacturing job now. Bob, I'm happy for you. Legitimately, I'm happy for you that you have a better job. That doesn't change the fact that we have lost manufacturing jobs, and there are at least 70-ish thousand, 70 to 100,000 of people who lost jobs and didn't get what you got. Right? So I appreciate what you're saying, but that's what we call anecdotal evidence. And I think it goes like this is kind of the difference between political ideologies, and it's the existence of something called empathy. Progressives have it. Just because things are going well for you doesn't mean that we should ignore places where it's not going well. And you don't. It's the main difference here. But like that, don't you see at least a little bit, Bob, that was a little fucked up that you said that? Like, there's a lot of people who are struggling in this country right now, and they lost manufacturing jobs due to these, in large part, to these tariffs. And you're like, yeah, well, fuck them. I'm doing better. Yeah. That's the difference in political philosophies. Conservatism, there's no room for empathy. Very, very little room for sympathy in conservatism, because to have empathy and to have sympathy would be admitting that what we have right now is an unjust system. And you can't do that because you're a conservative. You have to say our system is great how it is now and we should not change it. In fact, the only way we're going to change it is if we go backwards. But we can't do anything new. No new stuff, just going backwards. So I'm not surprised that that's coming from a conservative, but I think you should do a little reflection there that you thought that was a smart thing to say.
Under those tariffs, how to return that money directly to the families who pay. You can do this now. Put a plan in place. Do you have a plan in place?
Customs currently has a website to return any tariffs to the foreign importers' records or domestic importers who paid them, and they'll continue to do that.
I'm asking you about American families, the people you're supposed to be working for. Do you have any plan, if this next round of tariffs are struck down, for how you're going to get the money that is collected from American consumers back into their pockets?
The normal way that customs law worked is that the importer of record, if they pay a tariff, it's over.
I was asking you how customs law works. See what happens when Elizabeth Warren says, are you going to do anything for the consumer? The answer, you could just say no. This is a long way to say no, we're not going to do anything for the consumer.
They give it back. There's never been any.
No. Look, I believe that tariffs can be used strategically.
Why the fuck would I have a clue what's going on in manufacturing? Because we report manufacturing job numbers. Right? This is about job numbers, not what you do at work. I don't run a manufacturing plant. This isn't about what's going on in manufacturing. This is simple math. The amount of jobs gained. We gained 0. We lost between 70 and 100,000. Everybody can understand that. You don't even have to know what manufacturing means to be able to know that we lost this amount of manufacturing jobs. I think what you got exposed as being kind of a dipshit. You're probably lying for the record, but you got exposed as not having empathy for anybody, and now you're trying to play like, I actually work here, I'm the expert. You don't have to be an expert in manufacturing to know how jobs numbers work. And when it comes to like sorting through government data and politics, like, yeah, I would consider myself an expert. This is what I've been doing this like for a job now for 4 straight years, three and a half straight years. And then I worked in politics before that. I studied political science. It's not that hard though. Literally anybody who can read can look at the manufacturing job numbers and go, oh, we lost manufacturing job numbers. I'm going to guess that you are a low-level employee because you're like, you don't even understand manufacturing. That tells me you don't understand most of what we're saying. And perhaps this isn't the place for you. Perhaps like a Tim Pool. I'd check out Tim Pool. You'll like Tim Pool.
Valuably. But what the Trump administration...
I can see the fucking demand in manufacturing. No, you can't. Nobody can see that. That's silly. It was. If that was the case, we would have more manufacturing jobs, right? If there was a massive demand, we'd be increasing manufacturing jobs. But we're not. We're doing the opposite of that. Yeah, supply and demand doesn't really apply with manufacturing. You don't understand that. If you worked in manufacturing, you know, I can see it. I don't think you can. I think you're actually lying about your job, by the way.
Is picking the pockets of American consumers. And after Donald Trump promised he would lower costs.
What is my source for the loss of manufacturing jobs? The Bureau of Labor and Statistics.
On day one, he puts in place tariffs that have done nothing but raise prices for consumers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Do you want to look at? You want me to show you the numbers? Pull them up. Try blaming. Well, look, I actually kind of agree with you there, Dave. Like, ultimately, it is you can blame the companies for cutting manufacturing jobs. Now, some of them might just be relocating to a different country where it's cheaper. Some of them might not be, just maybe they couldn't afford to operate in the United States. I think you'd have to go on an individualized basis there. But there's no doubt that Trump said he would bring back American manufacturing. There's no doubt that he said tariffs would bring back American manufacturing. The point is that he did the tariffs and it didn't bring back American manufacturing. And there's never just like one reason why manufacturing doesn't increase, or any industry. But we do know that doing tariffs the way Trump did the tariffs didn't work. He said it would, and it didn't. And again, like, it's a far more complex question than like, do I think those jobs would have returned had we not done tariffs? No. Do I think we would have lost more jobs? No. Do I think we would have still had net manufacturing losses? Maybe. But what we do know for sure is that the tariffs didn't work. That's what we do know. Net manufacturing jobs, according to the BLS. Oh, I was off. 178,000. I've been off by 80,000. It's 178,000. That is, let me pull out the report. Where is it here? By the way, do you know how many manufacturing jobs were added during the first Trump administration? We were getting about 100,000 a year before COVID. Oh, never mind. This 178 was from his first stint in office. Okay, that's why it wasn't wrong. 108,000 jobs is what it is. First term was a net loss of 178,000. We're at 108,000 now. And you can see here. This is from the Joint Economic Committee. Minority Today released a new analysis showing that the manufacturing industry lost 108,000 jobs during the first year of President Trump's second term. This new estimate shows that the manufacturing sector has lost even more than 68,000 jobs that the BLS previously estimated. Okay, so the 70,000 was from the BLS. Now they're saying it's 108. Do they have? Here's the report. We could go through it. But there's your sources. So you choose. I was right, actually, the first time, between 70 and 100,000. Should have trusted my gut on that. Okay. Here's Sarah Jacobs talking to Mike Waltz, who Mike Waltz is the person yesterday that said he doesn't have to read a threat assessment about Cuba because he lives, because he's a native Cuban, or excuse me, Floridian. So please just remember that Mike Waltz doesn't read anything ever. But he's out here spouting the talking point, the gas prices talking point. And Sarah Jacobs, this clip you may want to save. This is a good way to answer this question if you're talking to people about gas prices.
And while they willingly make the sacrifices for our country, it's our job on both sides of this dais to make sure that those sacrifices are worth it. So I wanted to ask you a simple question. Are we better off now than we were before we launched the war in Iran?
I will answer you very directly. Yes, the world and the American people are safer.
Okay, let's get into some more specifics. Before the war, the Strait of Hormuz was open. Now the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Are Americans better off when the Strait of Hormuz is open or when the Strait of Hormuz is closed?
The American economy is largely unaffected by the Straits of Hormuz.
So why did gas prices go up?
Fortunately, I find it a little bit rich to hear this kind of clamoring for oil.
Wait, he's just going to leave it there? What do you mean? Why did the gas prices go up?
Oil and gas when, frankly, your side of the aisle.
Can we talk about Democrats wanting wide open borders? Ben, you have to tell us which Democrat is asking for wide open borders. You need a quote, a direct quote. Okay, and then we'll talk about it. Just give me a direct quote from any Democrat saying we want open borders, and then we'll discuss it.
Has been at war against the American fossil fuel industry for quite some time. In fact, we had an LNG export ban just under the last administration. But fortunately, because of drill, baby drill, because of fracking, we are largely self-sufficient in the energy space.
That is not true. We are not. What percentage? Do you guys know what percentage of our gas comes from is imported? See currently if I can get a current number. It was like 10%. 10%. It's been that way. I don't think we've even used. I don't think it's really moved. 8%, yeah, and it's been that way. I'm trying to look at by year. Yeah, there's not been a significant change in that. So it's not because of drill, baby, drill.
Well, my constituents who are paying on average thousands of dollars more a month in costs because of this war would beg to differ that our economy is not impacted by the Strait of Hormuz being closed.
But California imports much of its oil and gas, unfortunately, because of its own regulations.
Yeah, I want to talk about the national average of gas, actually. The national average of...
Just a reminder that this exists from the Watson School at Brown. So far, American consumers, not taxpayers, this isn't taxes that we pay on the military. So far, we have paid $72.7 billion extra in gasoline and diesel. That is an average of $554.98 per household since the start of the Iran war. That's, let's say by household. 303 of that is gasoline costs. Started at the beginning of the war, gas was $2.98, $4.09 average as of today. It's up $1.10 per gallon, $1.11. Just a reminder.
Gas before the war started was $3 a gallon. It is now once again over $4 a gallon. You said actually in saying that the war was getting better on June 21st on Face the Nation,
Thanks,
that
Lindsay.
it is now below $4 and falling to show that we're making progress, but it's back up at $4 a gallon now. So are Americans better off when they're paying $3 a gallon nationally for gas or $4 a gallon nationally for gas?
I think Americans are better off than not paying the highs of over...
Just answer the fucking question, please. Could he answer a question? Can you guys start talking to your friends in Congress, Republicans, and see if they'll answer questions?
Nationally for gas or $4 a gallon nationally for gas?
I think Americans are better off than not paying the highs of over $5 under the last administration because of
that
this
happened for
administration's
2
energy
weeks
policy.
during the Ukraine war. It's been over $4 for more than 3 months just this year.
Remember that. Remember when they use that talking point that they know this. They just don't want to address what's happening. And all because they're afraid of Donald Trump. They just won't tell the truth because they're afraid of Donald Trump. He's fucking up, and they're like, we can't say that. Mike Walls also might not be telling the truth because he doesn't know anything, because he's lazy. That could also be why. I don't know if we can always say that he's lying. It's clear that he is on the record saying, like, I don't read things. I'm a Floridian, so I know things by osmosis. Ox Black said, late, but woke Google in a deal with Trump. Or wait, woke Google, excuse me. In a deal with Trump? No way. And this guy wants how much? What do you mean? I don't think he's asking for money. That's he's the UN ambassador. I don't even remember why he's being talked to. Can't remember. All right. Let's go. How do we have? About 30 minutes. Yeah, I want to talk about this article. All right. Why conservative? Do we got any conservatives here that live in Florida? I am FRCD. Antifa do still looking for headquarters. You got to check. You got to check the Antifa subreddit, and there's a treasure, or not a treasure map. Excuse me, what do you call those? A scavenger hunt in order to find the headquarters. Just got to go on the subreddit there. Do we have any Florida people here? One of the things that Republicans say every single time we talk about New York is, why is everybody fleeing to Florida? And I grew up in Salt Lake City adjacent, like just a suburb of Salt Lake City, Utah. It was a very affordable place to live. And it's been a pretty affordable place to live for a very long time. When we lost manufacturing, the county I grew up in, like the biggest employer was a steel manufacturer. We lost them in the 90s. The Utah, the entire like scene in Utah County changed, and they had to replace that with something. And eventually, Utah decided they were going to lure tech companies to Utah with really, really low taxes, and they would give them subsidies, and they would move their businesses to Utah, and people would be employed. Not a terrible idea, right? If you need jobs in Utah, but I don't know how many of those jobs we needed. And now living on the Wasatch Front, anywhere from Provo to really Brigham City in Utah, is extremely expensive, and it's become progressively more expensive over the last 8 years. Same with Boise, Idaho, same with Austin, Texas, and same with Florida. And the interesting thing about conservatives that I don't think they ever realize is that the reason it's expensive to live in New York, and the reason it's expensive to live in San Francisco, and the reason it's expensive to live in Seattle is because of supply and demand. A lot of people want to live there. The supply is limited, prices go up. And you're all now finding that out. Montana, head out to in any Montana city now. And you know that the wealthy people have fled their states to come to your state and get lower taxes, and they raise the price of everything around you. We now see what we've been telling you forever. This is from the Robb Report, but a bunch of people have reported on this. Miami, South Florida, now more expensive to live than New York City. Some people might say they like Miami better, and so it should be more expensive. That's fine. But we now have new data, and it confirms what many residents of Florida have already been feeling in their pocketbooks. According to a new Bloomberg report, the Miami metropolitan area is now more expensive than the greater New York City region for the first time on record, citing the latest data from the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis. The outlet also reports that South Florida's consumer price index has climbed 36% since 2019. So congratulations, Florida. The DeSantis administration and the Trump administration and the influence of conservative politics on Florida has risen your consumer price index by 36%. Now, remember, Florida doesn't have an income tax. They tax you on a lot of other ways. Consumption-type taxes, things like toll roads, and property taxes. So this increase of 36% is far more than maybe the 2 or 3% haircut that you got from the federal government. Housing remains one of the biggest factors. While Miami buyers still get more square footage for their money than buyers in New York, the median home price was $357 per square foot in June compared to $536 in the New York metro area. You'd think, oh, well, that's significantly cheaper. Many buyers, though, are saying that the savings disappear once they factor in insurance, property taxes, and maintenance costs. Florida homeowners pay the highest insurance premiums in the country. According to Bloomberg, citing Insurify, the annual premium reached $8,200 last year, roughly 4 times what homeowners in New York City pay. 4 times more expensive to insure your house in Florida than New York. Data from Adams shows property taxes in the Miami area have jumped 62%. If you are a homeowner in the Miami area, your property taxes have increased 62%. Why? Because your state said, come to Florida, rich people, we won't tax you. So these people moved into your state, didn't pay any taxes, and now you have to pay more in taxes because them coming to your state raised home values because of supply and demand. So while you brag about it, ironically, what is this? We got a lingerie ad on the side. Hope I don't get in trouble for that. Ironically, the thing that you've been bragging about is costing you more money. Other everyday expenses are rising too. Bloomberg reports private school tuition, restaurant bills, and insurance costs have all increased over the past year. Meanwhile, salaries haven't kept pace. According to the Census Bureau, the typical household income in Miami is about $1,000 below the national median. And professionals also often earn less than their counterparts in New York. Bloomberg reports that the average lawyer in the New York metro earned roughly $51,000 more last year than in Miami. So you're not making more money, and your costs are going up. And what did you get? Rich people. That's it. You just got some rich people. Jacob, you've said the same thing 20 times. Even as it becomes less affordable for middle and lower incomes, South Florida continues to attract the ultra-wealthy. Billionaires including Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Howard Schultz, Citadel founder Ken Griffin have all expanded their presence in the region in recent years, in some cases spending hundreds of millions of dollars to amass contiguous properties, according to real estate agents interviewed by Bloomberg. You got a bunch of fucking weirdos not benefiting your economy, not putting dollars in your pocket. In fact, taking dollars out of your pocket. What do you have to show for it? A bunch of fucking weirdos. Congratulations. According to real estate agents interviewed by Bloomberg, the result is an increasingly divided market. Affluent buyers continue to compete for trophy homes, while some professionals who once viewed Miami as a low-cost alternative to New York are reconsidering whether its soaring housing and lifestyle costs still make sense. Doesn't have anything to do with necessarily like red or blue. It's always supply and demand. That's why costs go up. People want to live in blue cities. That's why they're more expensive. And now blue cities are like Miami, are being taken over by conservative politics. Conservative politics say we should lure more people here with lower taxes. The richest people then move there because they're the ones that benefit the most from low taxes, and then you all pay more. All of you in Florida are simply paying more for everything so that you can have more billionaires in your state, which benefits you nothing because they're not paying income tax. Isn't that cool? Isn't that so cool? Jacob, shut up, dude. You've been here a million times. No more trolling, Jacob. You got to stay on task. Mods, mute every message Jacob says that isn't talking about what we're talking about. Jacob, you're welcome to stay, but you got to be on task here and on subject. You can't just come here to troll. You've been here too many times. You know that. All right. Here is what Republicans are now campaigning on for November. Here's Mike Collins, who, by the way, he is running as a Senate candidate in Georgia, conspicuously left off the stage when Trump was there yesterday. Even Trump is recognizing that Mike Collins might not be good for him. I think George is a problem. I saw somebody in here earlier saying Ossoff was going to lose. I don't know about that. He's pretty fucking unpopular. And maybe he's unpopular because people in Georgia want to see real change, and this is what he's running on instead.
Talking about Georgia. We're talking about John Ossoff, who was elected in 2020. We have done so much to try to clean up the voter rolls here in Georgia, get rid of drop boxes, quit mailing absentee ballots to everybody in your family. Mm-hmm. We've done that, but the last big step is...
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it harder for you guys to vote. That's what we're going to do here for you in Georgia. By the way, they haven't passed that. This is the SAVE Act. Anything that the state of Georgia has actually done has nothing to do with Mike Collins, right? Because the state has cleaned up their elections, but Mike Collins hasn't. It doesn't matter if Mike Collins or John Ossoff win. The state still controls their own elections, so it's kind of silly to be running on this. But while Georgians are like, we want more, we want to have a more affordable life, he's like, what if I made it harder for you to vote instead?
Make sure that we have good voter ID. Voter ID, not just in Georgia, but across this country. I think it's been clear that even using state driver
NDAA polygraph, I think,
license for voter ID has been compromised. And you saw that, I believe, it was in New Jersey. They found over 250,000 that people that shouldn't have been allowed to vote that are out there voting. We just need a simple voter ID. We're one of the last countries in the world that don't have voter ID. And it just doesn't make sense. This is a common sense provision that it's actually supported by over 80% of Americans.
It's not. This is not a winning message. Can you imagine telling the people in Georgia, like, all I'm going to do is keep relitigating 2020. I'm going to make it harder for you to vote. Fuck your finances.
We just need to get it passed. We passed it again out of the House yesterday, sent it over to the Senate. Now they need to take care of that.
All right, mute Jacob for 24 hours. I'm done with Jacob. All right. That's not going to work. Aren't you guys kind of pissed at all? You're not pissed at all that the people that are running aren't running on anything to fix anything? Here's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger explaining what they've done in Georgia. And I'm showing this video for two reasons. Number one, a lot of the things that Raffensperger is talking about are the exact things that Republicans want, that they say that they want. Brad Raffensperger is somebody that all Republicans hate. Why? Because he won't lie about the elections of 2020. But of all the Republicans in all of the country, Brad Raffensperger perhaps is more responsible for fixing election flaws than any other Republican, and they fucking hate him. They fucking hate this guy just because he won't say Trump won the election in 2020, and that's it. But he's actually getting done what you guys want Republicans in the House and the Senate to get done, and still, he'll be your most hated person in Georgia. Trump was campaigning in Georgia yesterday, was shitting on Brad Raffensperger over and over, while also asking that Georgia do things that they've already done, in large part because of Brad Raffensperger.
Yesterday, 3 years ago, through a computer glitch, some 6,600 non-citizens were registered in New Jersey, and some 400, maybe a little bit less than that, actually cast ballots. How alarming was that information to you? And what do you think it does say or doesn't say about the relative security of state procedures?
Well, several thoughts. Number one is the data that was provided by DHS said there's about 35,000, 36,000, and now it's down to 6,600. So it's about 20% correct. But the answer really should be zero. And we've been one of the leading proponents. We're the first state that has ever done citizenship verification. We did that because there was a concern by voters. So we ran our numbers with Department of Homeland Security under the Biden administration. And it took about 9 months. It was a very long and painful and expensive process. But as we went through that, we learned how we could help them really streamline that. I wrote Kristi Noem a letter when she became DHS secretary. Here's a 3-page letter. Here's the process. If you do this, and plus waive that cost, that fee that you're charging us, it could really help all states do that. And we've now are actually on our third run through on verifying citizenship. And like DHS put out last.
I mean, this should be the poster child, Republicans. This should be the guy that you guys have in front of everybody. He's one of the most hated people in your party. And he's talking more intelligently on this subject with real solutions and real results than anybody else in your party. And he is persona non grata because he won't say Trump lost in 2020.
This week about Georgia, they said there's 2,600 folks. We've never seen that number before. We saw 1,000, and yet when we run through our numbers, we see no more than 150.
And so that goes to something that was a concern raised, Brad, after the president's primetime address, that there were some possibly legitimate issues the president raised, but the rhetoric around it was unhinged from reality.
There weren't there wasn't anything Trump raised. The ironic thing about what Trump said in regards to Georgia in 2020 is the stuff that he claims happened didn't. The things that they fixed, Donald Trump never really talked about. Because the stuff that the Republicans rely on and the argument that they make of how the election was stolen in 2020 is fucking impossible to do. There's just no way. You think that like hundreds of thousands of people were able to fraudulently obtain ballots of registered voters and then get past the signature verifications, somehow get those ballots out of those people's mailboxes and then vote for them by mail? I mean, it's impossible. There's nobody that would ever even undertake that. Because not only is it impossible to get that many people on board, somebody's ratting you out. Somebody's going to make a mistake there. You would need hundreds of thousands of people involved in that. That's why nobody really took it seriously. But Georgia, and credit to Raffensperger, said, well, our voters did feel like the elections weren't secure. So we went through and we tested the vulnerabilities of our election. And we found places where we could improve our processes. And now our elections are even more secure. But none of it had to do with people like illegal people voting or dead people voting or ballot stuffing or ballot harvesting. And none of that came into play. It was just simply like auditing processes. They found holes in the software. By the way, I didn't know this, but all of these states that are purging voter rolls, they're using an independent software company. All these people that are building out their voter rolls, they're using an independent software company that is supposed to check and catch these things. So the states are all contracting with this same contractor, and the federal government uses this same contractor, and they're doing a piss poor job.
And the numbers in New Jersey confirmed around 6,600, much less than the 30,000 or more alleged by DHS. The allegations in Georgia, much larger than you've actually found on the ground. That creates confusion, does it not?
Well, that's why we got out there very proactively, try to figure out where did that number of 2,600 come from? We had never heard that before, but we've done our work, and we have 150. Now we'll run that back through DHS again. In fact, one of the things that frustrates us is we had a good program working, and this was available for both Republican and Democratic states, that we would have information available to us with DHS, and we work back and forth. Sometimes their data is not up to date. Sometimes the state's data is not up to date. Working together, we can iron that out and get that number down to exactly how many non-citizens actually end up on a voter list. And that's really important. And once we find out if there's any on, we need to get them off.
That number came out of Trump's ass. I mean, look, Raffensperger clearly knows what he's talking about. He's clearly up to date on the numbers, and he's clearly actively working in the state of Georgia to make sure that their elections are secure. But then Trump still just shows up in Georgia and lies, makes up numbers. The data that Trump released on whitehouse.gov, what you'll notice is missing in those emails when he talks about voter fraud is any source for that data. It's literally a copy and pasted table with no source from that data. Trudy said I had higher hopes for donations today, and Big W Trudy again for the millionth time. Carrying donations sent $50. Thank you, Trudy, for the $50 over on Venmo. Appreciate it.
We need to prosecute folks and find out how did they get on. Is it a national voting, registration drive that someone's doing, or what is that process? What did we have a glitch? And in Georgia, we're continuing to look at that, making sure we have zero non-citizens on our voter list. That means you'll have zero non-citizens voting in your elections.
Does Georgia need the so-called SAVE Act at the federal level?
Actually, we already have it, really. We have real ID, we have citizenship check, and then we have early voting, and we have 17 days of that, and we have photo ID with our with all voting that we have. We have that also with our absentee voting. We're the first state.
Again, I'll show you if we get time. We get time today. I can show you the Trump clips from his campaign in Georgia yesterday, where he's claiming that Georgia has none of this and that Georgia's elections won't be secure unless we pass the SAVE Act. Which, for Georgia, it sounds like it would be redundant. Mystic, thank you for the gifted subs. Appreciate it. W Mystic in the chat.
Do photo ID for absentee voting. Primarily, people are using their driver's license. So no matter how you vote, we accept the same forms of identification, and we think that has elevated trust and also security in the process. We feel good where we are. I just say copy Georgia, and you're going to get it right.
And when the New Jersey Governor, Mikey Sherrill, says, look, we saw this, we brought it to the public's attention. We're in the process of fixing it. Your vote and your process in New Jersey is secure. Do you think that is a generally credible approach?
I believe so. And then just circle back in a month or two.
If you're not familiar, New Jersey is getting a lot of heat right now. They found what was like 6,000-ish ineligible voters on their voter rolls. Again, because states regularly check their voter rolls and regularly purge their own voter rolls. It's something that the Trump administration will not tell you. And they use the system that Trump is saying they should use. So it's really about control and access. They're all actually doing this already. Everything in the SAVE Act that they want to do as far as like how to curate voter rolls, those things are already being done by every state. It's the voter suppression stuff that they really want to get through, and they hide behind the things like citizenship requirement, which is already a requirement in all 50 states, purging your voter rolls, which already happens in all 50 states, and they're saying that those things aren't happening, so you won't look at the actual voter suppression mechanisms.
After you've gone through that again, and just let voters know, here's where we are, and just let them know that all the issues that you did have.
States never purge their rolls. They do. They're literally. I just showed you, this is New Jersey purging their rolls and Georgia. We're showing you two people who are talking about purging their rolls. They never do. That's what it's like being a Trump supporter. Just believe what you want. That's fine.
Something that went back 3 or 4 years, you've cleaned that up and you now move forward. I think that's the right way to handle it, and I'm glad that they came forward so quickly.
And the issue in New Jersey was,
I had a family member just buy a house and they received 7 ballots from previous owners that don't live there anymore. Yeah, dude. Yeah, because the previous owners didn't change their address. And guess what happens if you try and submit those ballots? You're not going to get a signature match verification. And if those people voted either in your state or another state, it's gonna flag that there were multiple votes for the same person. And then guess what? In fact, do it. Fill out those ballots, Robert. Fill them out and send them in. Video it. See what happens. See who comes knocking on your door. You will get caught. because it won't pass signature verification. And if those people vote somewhere else, it's going to flag those ballots. Yes, that happens all the time. In Arizona, I've had ballots come to 2 different locations. I didn't change my registration. So I changed my registration to my new address to get my ballot. That ballot came as a provisional ballot, and there were 2 ballots with my name on them in circulation. Had somebody else submitted my other ballot, I wouldn't have voted twice. They would have compared the signature verification, and they likely would have showed up at my door and said, explain this. Explain how you have 2 ballots here. I would say, well, if you look at the one from my house, the past signature verification, this is my real house, and somebody else must have submitted my ballot, and it wouldn't have counted. If you know just like a tiny bit about elections, you know that these things that they keep telling you are issues and stuff like what Robert's saying, you know those aren't real issues.
Even when people filling out their driver's license application said they were non-citizens.
All right, Robert, do it. Film it, Robert. Film it. Fill out those ballots, sign them, film it, and then we'll check if those ballots counted or not. Put your money where your mouth is, Robert. You're calling everybody else a liar. Do it. Go for it. Any of you, anybody who says I'm full of shit, encourage Robert to do this. This is your opportunity, Robert. You can prove once and for all how easy it is to cheat in elections. I'll post the video for you. We'll make sure it gets out to everybody. We'll show everybody just how easy it is to cheat on elections. Because obviously, Robert, you wouldn't stop right there. You wouldn't say that ballots existing is evidence of voter fraud, right? You would want to test that out and make sure that those ballots can be submitted, right? You're not one of those people who would not follow through and make a claim like that, Robert. You're here every day. You're a smart guy. You're calling everybody else a liar. Fill them out. Sign them. Send them in. Let's see what happens, Robert.
Internal software glitch even recorded them as they were citizens, therefore eligible to vote. So that's not an intent problem. That's not like a conspiracy of people trying to get a ballot when they didn't deserve one in the first place. They were being forthright and saying, I'm not a citizen, but the glitch put them on the line. So that's a software issue, not an intent issue. That seems to me relevant.
Exactly. Very relevant.
And that
every time we look into this, it seems to be the software companies or the hardware companies and not anybody else who's fucking up.
It goes to this question that people have about, is there a sort of rush for people to try to get ballots that they don't otherwise deserve? Is your experience in Georgia that's true or less true?
I think most non-citizens understand if they actually register to vote, that's a violation of law. And that can jeopardize you becoming an American citizen down the road. And then if you just compound that by actually voting, that is even a much higher level, because we'll definitely prosecute that with a local DA. We will not tolerate it. So you'll have lawful action against you, and you will definitely.
They're not, Robert. They're not supposed to print ballots for people that don't exist. Robert, the ballots of the people you're talking about exist, dummy. They just moved. When you move, like when I moved from my last house, does that mean I don't exist anymore? All right, we'll fly through this real quick. I want to show you just Trump's out there campaigning. It's low energy. They put a bunch of kids behind him. This is Rick Jackson. He is a gubernatorial candidate. I think he's Trump's pick for governor in Georgia. I'm not 100% sure on that, but usually if that's who they bring forward. Misspoke here, but I loved it anyways.
And I'm going to make sure that Georgia is the best place to do business and reduce affordability to the lowest it's ever been.
I'm going to reduce affordability to the lowest it's ever been. I believe that. I think that's something they can accomplish. Now Trump railing about welfare theft. I don't even know what the Christ he's talking about here. Anybody want to let me know?
Think of that. So in 1 year, they did much less than $1 trillion of investment. We were losing this country, I'll tell you. And the welfare, you see all the theft that's going on. Guys are stealing $100 million. Some guy from the street steals $100 million.
Who was this man from the street that stole $100 million from welfare? Who was that? Robert, you've been on this live when I've had my hat off. It's crazy. You're spiraling, bud. We asked Robert to prove a claim, and now he's just getting very upset. Robert, things are going to be okay. Who's this guy, though? You guys got it? Who's this guy from the street that stole $100 million?
It's horrible. The welfare was going through the roof. The costs were going through the roof. It was a disaster. Think of
Yeah, it also didn't happen. I have no idea what that is. Then he went on. This was just bizarre. I just don't know what he's talking about here. I think he's talking about one of the people who died in Iran. Is this sundowning Trump?
When I go to Dover, I read charts on all of the young people, and some are unbelievable. Some are a little bit,
Yeah, that's not nice. Who said that? The first thing I want to do. The first thing I want to do is make Robert's profession obsolete. How dare you? Somebody has to be on the other end of the glory hole. Okay, it's honest work. Don't bash Robert like that. Robert, we don't shame you for stuff like that. And I'm sorry that people in this chat think you should lose your job. It's tough work. You got to take a lot in. So don't say that about Robert.
they got a little bit of a couple of little bad things put in. This is a son who was like a flawless, perfect person. Beautiful, beautiful son. Handsome in every way. Brilliant. Respected by everybody. His sheet read so beautifully, and I told them that their beloved son, and it's his name.
By the way, this is their beloved son who died in a senseless war that Donald Trump started for no reason that anybody can figure out. Maybe don't send their son off to a pointless war.
Was Lieutenant Tyler Feehan, and he was a person that was going all the way. He was going to be a general. He would have been a general very quickly. He was heading in that path.
It's ramblings, incoherent ramblings of a crazy person. Here he is on rising prices. I wanted to cover this in a way where we could like fact check Trump. We can't even fact check him anymore. He doesn't even make it, like his sentences are incoherent. Here he is talking somehow about rising prices. You guys can explain it to me, Robert, if you could.
So I just want you to remember that if you're paying a little bit more, a lot of it's come down now. We got it coming down very rapidly, actually. Look at the number just released. But it really would, we inherited something from Biden, and we're giving it back to you, thousands and thousands of dollars each family. We gave it to you also. Remember.
I dare you. Robert, what's he talking about? Let's play it again. Somebody tell me what he's talking about.
So I just want you to remember that if you're paying a little bit more, a lot of it's come down now.
If you're paying a little bit more, a lot of it's come down now. From when?
Got it coming down very rapidly, actually. Look at the number just released. But
what number? What number just released said that prices are coming down?
It really would, we inherited something from Biden, and we're giving it back to you, thousands and.
You had 2.8% inflation under that you inherited from Joe Biden. Now it's 3.5. Prices went up. CPI went up. Unemployment went up. Literally everything went up. You inherited a better number than you're at right now. This is how obtuse you have to be to still be a MAGA supporter. Like, what are you talking about? All those numbers got worse.
Thousands of dollars each family. We gave it to you also. Remember, forgetting about prices, and I don't want to.
What? Okay, but that part. What is he talking about? What's the thousands, Robert?
You also remember forgetting about prices, and I don't want to forget about it. I would never leave a sentence like that because they'll say he said forget about prices.
What was any of that? Someone explain me that 30 seconds. What we were talking about. And somebody tell me who this is. Apparently Donald Trump is not a fan of John Ossoff and thinks he looks like somebody I've never heard of. And somehow the audience, who has also never heard of this person, thinks this is hilarious.
And yet, your terrible Senator John Ossoff, he's terrible. And the Democrats in Congress are voting with the communists every single time. They're afraid.
Who are the communists that they're voting with? There's no communists in Congress. How are the Democrats voting with the communists? I can't believe we're doing Red Scare shit. I can't believe we're doing it in 2026. You have to be so stupid to let this shit work for you.
With the communists every single time. They're afraid of the communists. You look at it. Now, I was I fought Ossoff before, as you know, and we won.
What?
We had a great success against this guy. He reminds me of Pinky Herman. Did you ever see Pinky Herman?
Two things. When did Trump fight Ossoff and win? And two, who the fuck is Pinky Herman? Is there somebody in Georgia named Pinky Herman? I don't know.
Pinky Herman. Did you ever see Pinky Herman? Did you ever see
Yeah, maybe Pee Wee Herman. Yeah.
Pinky Herman? John Ossoff and the congressional Democrats voted us, and yet
That's your guy, Bob. That's your fucking guy, Bob. What do you think about that? Where's the rest of you guys? I think you meant Pee Wee. Yeah, I think so too. That's your guy right there. When did he fight Ossoff? Does anybody know? I don't know what he's talking about. That's your boy. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it from us today. That's how we're going to end it. A little anticlimactic, but holy fuck. What a weird day. That was my least, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That was one of my least favorite outlines I've ever had in my life. I hated everything about the news today. It was mostly just like, what the fuck? All day, every day. This administration has lost it. We're no longer doing anything but fighting against MAGA, trying to rewrite reality, which is hard to do. It's hard to rewrite what people are seeing in front of their face. Stacy said a second donation today on Robert's behalf. Thank you. Jamar says happy Thursday. Thanks, Jamar. Hope you're recovering from your multiple knee surgeries. You saw it on the AI vid. Yep, man. Yeah, I guess. It was a weird one. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that. Thanks for all your help today. All right. Jen, did I miss anything?
Nope, that's all of them. No, Robert, we hit our goal. We baked just enough. So I'm glad you're concerned for that.
Sorry. Caffeine said, for surviving the internet's dumbest battlefield. It didn't feel like a battlefield today. I feel like, honestly, MAGA, it was your worst effort, and I don't blame you. The material you had to defend today was indefensible. That was a tough one for you. I'll admit it. Some days you have better arguments. Some days you have something a little better to stand on. Today was a tough day for you. And maybe that's why I didn't like the outline. I felt like there was no shot for you to defend anything today. It was just going to be stupid the whole time, and I was going to get frustrated the whole time with the responses. Trudy said, shut the fuck up, Robert. Sorry, Robert. She said what she said. I got to read it. What's up, Jen?
Robert's just so big mad. Yeah, you and your substance lifestyle.
Substance lifestyle?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I lost where it went. Substance lifestyle about begging. I don't know.
Oh,
Robert
okay.
doesn't say a whole lot. Your substance lifestyle, begging for money for people that can't afford it. Robert, I'm going to need you to rewrite that again in English. That made no sense. But and our RPK said, for the Robert, go fuck yourself fund. Neely said, because if you want a surplus, look to the left. So we always appreciate you, Robert, coming in and talking shit and having people additionally donate. You're good for something, and that's it. Who's fragile, Robert? We're laughing at you. Anyways. Yeah, so I think that's the last hit on Venmo donations. And the appeal went through. So
Cool. So we'll be back on TikTok tomorrow. All right.
Yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow morning and every weekday morning, bright and early, 9:30 a.m.-ish to 1 Pacific Standard Time-ish, right here wherever you watched today. Thank you guys for joining us. Go outside today if you can and touch some grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't touch grass or smoke grass, best of luck to you. I would highly recommend reaching down and finding the straps to your boots. Some would call those boot straps, and pulling yourself up by those boot straps, and then taking those boots and your body and getting those boots on the ground. But before you do, find a mirror. If you don't have a mirror, maybe turn your phone around like you're taking a selfie. Look yourself in the eye and say something nice about yourself. Every one of you has a quality to be admired. And you should tell yourself every day that you love yourself. And so give that a shot. Drink lots of water throughout the day. And when you go out, take some water with you because it's hot as shit out there. Make sure you're doing that. Most importantly, though, while you're out there, love yourself. Be nice to yourself. Be nice to those you come in contact with. And until I see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool. And have a great summer.